Ah, crap. We're live right as my gay porno isn't even done closing yet. Shit. Well, I wasn't even screen sharing. Damn, I shouldn't have said anything. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm actually here joined today by Chimera, a.k.a. Nasser 2.0.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey. Oh. Yes, I just had to. I had my own stream running in the background, but luckily I have headphones on, so hopefully you guys didn't hear any of that. But yeah, and Ibai Canales may be joining us. Well, anytime within the next hour, I hope. And yeah, he. By the way, if you don't know who he is, he's the guy that did the not Jawbreakers, the Iron Sights art for volumes 1 and 2 for your boy Zach. And he's not exactly an amateur. He's not exactly a guy that you got to be too worried about. So it's this campaign actually. We're going to talk about SOS Volume 1 first here, and it's closing next week, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks from now.
Yeah. So it's not March 3rd anymore.
I might extend it, but probably March 3rd around that week.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen here if I can actually get back to the correct tab. Yeah, I got way too many of them open right now. But okay, I don't need to hear that. All right, let me just pull that up. SOS Volume 1. Boom, you guys should be able to see that there.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so if you want to give the just a high level pitch of what you got going here, that should be that'd be a good place to start.
Sure thing. So SOS Volume 1 is basically Ghostbusters meets Spawn. It's 3 brothers who are former super soldiers during World War II. They open up a monster hunting business in present-day New York when demons from a dimension called the Abyss start invading. And so they figure they can monetize their powers and take down some baddies.
All right, and actually, one of the better ways to watch it, we'll just actually watch the trailer. So,
yep.
Maybe wait if it's on you. Could you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, I always have to pause to make sure I did it right. So yeah, let's go into full screen. Oh, go away. So since they were super soldiers in World War II, what's the basic time frame that this story actually takes place in? Is it like in current year?
Yeah, 2020. Part of their physiology is they don't age.
Okay, yeah, because that you got it. That's exactly what I was getting at. Oh yeah, Toxic Man Baby was right. The shading's great. Yeah, so this one it's gonna be 80 pages, but it is gonna be black and white, just like pretty much everything else Ibai Canales does, right?
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
for black and white because I'm just reading manga at this point. So.
Oh yeah, I think most of my audience in particular, I'm quite sure they have no problems with black and white anything because again, if you read manga, this is normal for you.
Yeah.
And Ibai Canales, he's no stranger to he's no stranger to any of this. Yeah, he's done Iron Sights 1, Iron Sights 2, and I think you have it listed some of the other things he's done. I can't remember.
Abductables.
Abductables. Yeah, and was it Necromancer? Yeah.
Yeah, Abductables was kind of like this sci-fi comedy, which is right up Canales' alley, and so is my project. It's a comedy action series.
Yep, and that's the one thing we're missing actually is a pretty decent comedy because right now all we got is the random shit.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can actually see some of the dialogue on the page right there.
Yeah, basically the demon is explaining everything, and Megas just drops him off a roof. He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, right as the demon's trying to say, you have 2 options, join us and just let's go. Oh, sorry. Oops. Man, he just damaged that car. He seems to be fine though. See, he gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like their first encounter. They've been kind of overpowered, and so this is their first encounter with like enemies that can actually match their strength level.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah. That's right. Because they're like Captain America, basically, huh? And there's no other super beings anymore.
Yeah, there's no superheroes or anything in this universe, so they're basically top dog until they encounter, demons as well as other monsters.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty good story there. Or also another variant of that I really like is the one where the hero's been retired for so long that because the world didn't need them, and then they come out of retirement and they realize like, shit, I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
Oh man, so these guys here, yeah, I mean they're not out of practice. They just had there's nothing that could stand up to them. Although another thing I hope you cover in these books is how the government has been treating them for the past like 80 years.
I think I did. They basically live off their pension, so they didn't have to work for 75 years, so they've been lazing around.
Oh no! Oh, I mean, how would the government handle the fact that here you got these superpowered beings they didn't have any challenge until these demons showed up. So are they like always under government surveillance or something?
No, the government usually does clean up their messes, though. But for the most part, it's like a very comedic atmosphere in the world. Like nothing is taken seriously.
Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of that there. Yeah. Yeah, you humans have gone soft. Yeah. Oh, he's there. I thought I killed him. Now, is that the same guy?
Yeah, they can regenerate.
Oh man. Oh, so you're gonna have to do like what was it, Ninja Resurrection? I think. Yeah. No. What was it? How'd they kill that guy? Didn't they encase him in molten gold and throw him in the ocean?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you can regenerate all you fucking want at the bottom of the ocean forever.
And just a little spoiler, Megas does find a way to kill the demon. He just smashes his head in with a car engine. Yeah. So no brain, no regeneration.
Oh man, now that's actually kind of funny right there. It's man, what was it? Like in Scary, I think it was Scary Movie 4. You remember when they were being attacked by those aliens?
Yeah,
and then trying to find out what their weak spots were, and then the one guy just like knocks one of their heads off with a shovel. I got it. They're powerless without their heads.
Yeah. Scary Movie 3.
Yeah. Oh, that was 3. Okay.
Oh,
okay. Yep. I actually saw him pop in. I was just waiting for his devices to connect. So, yeah, let's actually add the artist himself in. Don't worry, we can't hear you wanking.
There I am. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey.
Oh man, we're having fun here tonight. Yeah, these streams. I mean, every time I do one of these later streams, I'm always like really exhausted right before the stream starts. But then as it gets going, it's like, we could keep going for a while. it goes away.
Tell me about it. It's 4 a.m. here in Spain.
Oh man, actually, so are you going to sleep really late, or did you just wake up early?
Oh no, I just don't sleep anymore. I found out that it's a hindrance for my artistic career. So I just, I'm in perpetual zombie
now. Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, you're other than the work you're doing with your boy Zach, how many other projects you on right now?
Well, I have this one. I have SOS, and I'm also drawing whenever I can. Johnny Slow, Gun Fu project for Alex Garcia.
Oh man, you got any of your own projects in the way? Yeah, or in the works?
Oh, I have like tons of ideas for comic books and stories and like even movie scripts, but I'm apparently too popular to be working on those right now. What can I say? But yeah, at some point, I hope I'll be able to work on those as well.
Well, I mean, if you got. Yeah, you already got the partnership for Iron Sights, right? Are you going to be back for Iron Sights 3?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, Zach reached to me the other day, and he asked me when I'll be available to work on part 3. I told her that I told him. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I'm not a native English speaker. But yeah, I told him that I should be available like in late spring, early summer, something like that. But yeah, definitely part 3 is happening.
Nice, and hopefully, given how well those sell, I hope it's been doing a good job paying your bills at least.
Oh man, I'm not gonna say anything about it because it's considered bad taste here in Spain to talk about money, but I'm an extremely happy Spaniard right now.
Okay, yeah, I mean, no one's ever going to ask you the exact amount. Yeah, it's just no. Hopefully, it was big. I gotta say, although when it comes to that though, I know. Yeah, we were talking about commissioning covers, but no, before the stream went live. And I was saying that, if you want someone like J. Scott Campbell to do a cover or a pinup for you, I mean, we're not even talking low four figures. I mean, that's.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
You know what you're paying for though. I mean, those guys are legendary, and you're in for some real elevated quality. So I can understand why.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not even just the quality too. It could just be the name brand as well. You get both of those at once, and if you can. Yeah, I think you could sell the originals for 5 figures. Yeah, it's wow.
Just
Yeah,
imagine being able to do that. I mean, me being able to do that would be like my live stream.
Well, it's possible. I mean, there are most of the artists here in the U.S. and in Europe, I believe, do color, right? But I mean, given how big manga is and how rich some of these manga authors and artists are. It's entirely possible, man. You may be able to pull it off.
Yeah, well, right now my short-term objective is to be able to just live off making comic books, and for the first time in my life, it seems like an achievable objective. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, man. That sounds again, especially with Iron Sights. If you can, maybe if you could ask your boy Zach to help you shill your own personal projects once you get them started, could be fine, man.
But making Zach do anything he doesn't want. That's extremely complicated.
Oh man, yeah. See, I wouldn't know because he killed all of his presence on the internet except for on Facebook, apparently. Yeah, and I don't use Facebook, so. Yeah, we haven't exactly ever communicated outside of exchanging like 1 or 2 YouTube comments.
So, yeah, I think he did the right thing because I firmly believe that an excess of Twitter can damage your artistic income. I mean, just take a look at Gail Simone and all these people. I'm pretty sure that if they didn't spend like 24/7 of their waking time on Twitter, they would be like much better writers.
Yeah, did you see that where she went crazy and she was posting all?
The meltdown. Oh man.
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, I think Ethan was right because if Birds of Prey had done super well, she would have had some massive royalty checks. Apparently.
Well, I thought she went crazy because DC Comics is going to go under.
Oh no, that was no. I think it was because of how bad the Sonic movie was just crushing Birds of Prey. It was because it was a few days ago, right? Yeah, I thought unless she had advance notice that like Dan DiDio was being removed and all the shit that went down earlier. Yeah. Well, she probably did, honestly, but yeah, we'll talk about Twitter. That is the one thing I've always wondered. Is these alleged professionals, how the fuck do they have the time to tweet 400 plus times a day when they're allegedly working?
Well, plot twist, they don't because they're clearly unable to produce like a script that isn't clearly written in like 4 minutes.
Right.
Dude, oh man, I know. See, even with me, I'm working on one for a side story right now that's going to be in the Blade Devil book. And even getting up to like 5 pages, that took like maybe 2.5, 3 hours just to get 5 pages done because I do something and then I'm like, no, that's pretty lame. I need to reconsider that.
Yeah, I had a writer's block for like the longest time when I was able finally to get 14 pages done yesterday, and that was like the most I've ever done.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's like what I tell people as well. With this, goes for any type of writing. If you're stuck, just stop. You can't. If you force it, it's gonna be shit. So just stop.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying stop writing. Maybe write a different script, a different project, and then within a few days, you're just going to get an idea. It's like, oh yeah, I should do that, and then you can go back to the one you were stuck on. But definitely don't force it. I mean, because if you're sitting there trying to force an idea, it's not going to end well. But even then, it'll probably be better than what like Gail Simone and all them put out, though, because I mean, with them, they, you know, when I just said how I'm reading my own stuff again, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty lame. I need to rewrite that. They never even get to that step.
Right.
Yeah. Just whatever they shit out, and yeah, that would be like Ibai right there. You know, if you were to just instead of finishing your art like this, you just have your first storyboard. Like, okay, this is good. You just turn it in. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what these writers are doing. They're doing the writer equivalent of this.
Oh no, their scripts are clearly a first draft.
Yeah, I know, and it's
the first and only draft.
Yeah, even I could do better. I mean, come on, man. You got to be pretty shit if you can't do better than me. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the editor's fault for allowing, you know, that writer or artist to be in such a cushy position. I'm like, no, like push back, like tell them, no, you have to send in something else. It's these editors.
Well, haven't you heard though? If you tell a woman that she's not perfect, that's harassment.
Oh, right. With Gail, yeah, she got that dude.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Ibai, I don't know. Are you aware of that? Because Ethan told that full story. You aware of what happened with Gail and how she got fired from? Was it Batwoman?
I heard that Ethan was basically finishing her scripts, right? Like,
it gets better. It gets because he told the exact story. Well, apparently a new editor was hired on, and he was going to be her editor. And he kept asking her, like he kept calling her, and she would never answer her phone. Then he emailed her and said, "Hey Gail, I need I need your plans for the next 6 months of the Batwoman story. I need like your script, your outlines." And no reply. And then he's like, "Oh, come on, I really need this. Could you give me 3 months at least?" No reply. And then he flat out told her, "It's like, hey, if you don't start communicating, we're gonna have to let you go." No reply. And then he said, "Okay, if this is how it's going to be, then we're going to hire someone else for this project. We don't need your services anymore." And then within a few minutes, she's on Twitter. "So I just got fired off of Batwoman." And then weaponized social media against them, and they pretty much
Gail basically built her career on doing that, like shaming people, right? I mean, she created the whole Women on Refrigerators website. And he used that to like bully like sex deprived nerds that back in the day were running DC. I guess there still are, consider I've been reading. But she basically used their like sexual inadequacies to like bully them into giving her a job.
Oh yeah, and then not doing it because I mean, and it was funny because clearly she was reading those emails. And because within minutes of getting the one saying she's fired, she was on social media talking about it. But then so they whoever the higher ups were at the time at DC, I can't remember the exact person, but they said, "Oh no, this is becoming a massive PR issue. You're going to have to hire her again." So then he called again, and now she picked up right away. And then like, "Yeah, would you be interested in getting your job back?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure, but under these conditions." Like, oh, okay. Now imagine being able to do that.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Imagine the amount of like young talents out there begging to get their foot in the door, to get in the comic industry, and with Gail, it's the other way. It's the industry begging her to stay. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and I would understand if she was the second coming of Stan Lee. I could understand, but
I could understand doing that for Garth Ennis, maybe Warren Ellis, Gail Simone. She isn't even that good.
And apparently, Ethan said that she used to be like a normal, friendly person, so we do know it's social media melted her brain.
Yeah, apparently the first couple of years of her career, and she did good work too. And then I guess she found out she doesn't have to. Like, why the fuck do I have to do good work when I could actually get way more money for doing literally nothing?
Yeah,
I actually liked her first Birds of Prey comic books. I still have I used to have it. I mean, I sold it because after she retweeted those Iron Sights page calling my art shit. I was like, yeah, no way I can reread this and enjoy it after what I know about Gail Simone. But before that happened, I actually liked Birds of Prey under Gail Simone.
Yeah, well, she's just like Mark Waid. I mean, look, they may be shit people now, but there's no shame in admitting that. Yeah, they used to be good. This happens all the damn time, and this happens with both people and companies. We see this with DC and Marvel used to put out good content. It's okay to like their old stuff, even knowing that right now they're complete shit.
And I don't know. I want to believe. I choose to believe that it's social media. I'm pretty sure that in the future, some point in the future, psychiatrists will be diagnosing some kind of social media induced disorder, by which being able to shit on people without actually having to confront them somehow like twists your mind and then makes you a shitty person. I don't know.
Well, it's a personality thing because Mark Waid has always been a man baby. Like he
that's
punch a hole in the wall at Marvel or something. Yeah.
No, Mark Waid is a shitty person. He's all that's for sure. It's like Eddie Berganza. Apparently, one of my I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to like get anyone in trouble. But Eddie Berganza actually apparently publicly sexually assaulted people in the premises in the DC offices. Everyone knew it. Everyone saw it. No one did anything. But apparently it was like common knowledge that Eddie Berganza was a shitty person all along.
Yeah, and this going back to what you said earlier, though, about how psychiatrists may be diagnosing some social media disorders. I unfortunately have to disagree with you. I don't think it's going to happen, and that's just because at least the pattern I've seen is if it's because it's mostly women that use social media this much, so they're never going to call it bad. Now, say gaming disorder is a thing because it's mostly men that play games, but they're never going to. If it's mostly women, they're not going to touch it. And I'm not blaming women for this. I'm blaming men for this because they're a bunch of fucking
I do blame
cocks
women because I'm a misogynist and I hate women. So
Yeah. I guess that's true. I'm a misogynist and I hate women too. So that's why I had Mandy on for like 4 hours earlier. But I mean, I hate women so fucking much. but yeah, I mean, I blame the men for this because they're all a bunch of simps. So they just say, "Oh, I can't say anything to offend my lady, or maybe she's not going to touch my pee-pee."
Yeah, it's like when Drexel was on Ricada Law. He was basically saying it's these beta males that give these women power. Like,
yep.
Yeah, you're supposed to know. You're supposed to say no. They don't have the power to say no.
Yeah, most of what I mean, it's all a giant shit test. And although you're seeing this at a societal level, I don't know. That's one of the recent fads, I guess, in Sweden right now. Is those immigrants are mugging Swedish kids and then peeing on them.
Oh,
and I'm just like looking at that. It's like, this is a fucking shit test. Like they just keep pushing further and further and laughing about it. Like, yeah, these guys are so fucking cocked. They're going to let us like beat the shit out of their kids and piss on them. And they're still going to do nothing.
Yeah. Regarding that subject, I watched once a video made by she was a European woman, but she was living Cairo in Egypt, and there's a tradition in like Muslim countries or half Muslim countries like Egypt that women should always be accompanied by a man because it creates some kind of like power dynamics between alphas. As a woman, you're supposed to go around with an alpha, and that alpha will like defend you from other men. If they see you alone, the man, it's like some kind of cultural code that says you're a bad. So they will go after you. And she said, your problem in Europe and in the US is that your men are such cacks that it's like, it's free reign for the Muslim guys, for the Arab guys, because they don't have any like natural predators to like counter their alphaness, so to speak.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's actually 50. She's half right. The other half of that is, have you seen most Western women? I mean, they purposely make themselves as irritating as possible, and they call you shit. They blame everything on you. They say they don't need you until they do. And but at that point, you're just like, man, fuck you. I'm not going to risk my life for that bitch.
Yeah, well, there's reasons why I'm single at age 38.
Yeah, no, same here, man. I haven't. I stopped dating in college because I started realizing, like, yeah, this shit's not. I'm glad I did too, because given how the male and female relationships are on college right now. Oh man, if I'd kept going, I could have been pound me too to my whole career destroyed, my whole future.
Yeah, the thing about Basque women, I don't know if you guys know this, but I happen to be Basque, which is basically Spanish Irish. And the thing about our women is that after Franco died, Marxism became like a fashion trend, and our women have been like Big Red from a famous anti-feminist video on YouTube for like 20 years now.
Oh man, yeah, that's
Yeah.
well. Then, yeah, it's a negative feedback loop at this point. The women. I mean, I think ultimately it is men's fault because. I mean, if men, they say there's a gender war going on, but I maintain if men actually took the gender war seriously, it'll be over within a day. Easy. The only reason that women are acting this way is because men aren't telling them no, like they're letting them do it. So you got to know the men became cocks and they just let women do whatever the fuck they want, and then the women became so intolerable that the non-cucked men are like, fuck this shit. If I want a woman, I'll go to like Asia or somewhere and get one there. And then you got like in all of Europe right now, actually, where the women are being assaulted and the native men are like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you're supposed to be strong, independent, right? So
yeah. You were just calling me shit yesterday, saying you don't need me. So, well, have fun proving that.
That's why I kind of want the apocalypse to happen, because it'll just reset everything. All the feminists will just be normal again, and all the men will be doing.
I just want the apocalypse to happen because I'll be able to wear like a BDSM harness and a hockey mask. and direct my pseudo gay troops to loot other people's soils.
Yeah, that's right, man. We can go full road warrior. I'm ready, man. I got my road warrior outfit and like my bondage gear ready to go. Yes, yeah, that's right, man. That will be some funny times right there. That's. But see, the thing with that though is, thanks to social media, like this is the one difference I believe, because usually say no matter what the conflict is, you got two sides having some conflict, and then one side is about to win, the other side knows for a fact they're gonna lose. So a lot of times, like their soldiers, they like destroy their uniforms, put on their civilian clothes, pretend they didn't do nothing, and they just try to blend in with the population. But and the NPCs are gonna try to do that now. But unfortunately for them, they're so confident they're never going to lose that all the horrible shit they do, like you see in comics, like Gail Simone. Everyone knows the horrible shit she does, and she's done it under her real name. Do you think once the current comic industry collapses, do you think anybody is going to hire her? Everyone's going to be like, whoa, this is an HR ticking time bomb. Fuck that shit. So,
well, I don't know. There's always a market for insufferable women, because there will always be cocks. There has been cocks from the beginning of time. But I don't think any sensible people will be hiring Gail Simone. Actually, I think there has been like a decreasing trend among business owners to employ women, because they have been increasingly seeing them as potential lawsuits. So they just employ men, because with men it's safer. Men are going to give you any trouble. They're just going to do the job, get paid, and go home, and that's it.
Yeah, and what's funny though is a lot of these companies, they're being penalized if they don't fill whatever quotas of women. but at the same time, they're like, I would rather just hire all men and pay the penalty than deal with all the other bullshit. And that's nothing. I'm going to be immune to this myself, because a lot of times, I mean, they don't actually have to pay penalties in a lot of cases. It's just these companies get all sorts of government grants and tax cuts and all that shit. So then the government threatens them like, oh, you're not going to be able to get any government money or tax cuts anymore unless you do that. So if they've become dependent on that, then they're fucked. But if I go into it from the beginning, like not using any government tax cuts or funds or any of that, they have nothing they can threaten me with.
Yeah, I think the key is to have enough fuck you money to be able to not be under feminism and the government thumb, because I firmly believe that feminism is like the state's horse of Troy. You know what I mean, right?
Trojan horse, yeah.
Yeah, Trojan horse. That's right. Sorry, it's almost 5 a.m. and I'm slightly drunk. So.
Well, but how's that different than any other time? Yeah.
Well, I think just like in the future, like probably this year or next year, it's just men are going to they're going to go full monk. They're going to go full MGTOW. They're not going to engage with women.
Oh yeah, well I'm already there. Well, I engage with women, but no more than I would with men. So
yeah, it's just birth rate. If you think the birth rate is bad now, it's going to be worse.
Oh, definitely.
I'm getting used to the idea that Basques will be no more in a couple of generations.
Yeah, and it's a combination of the women being insufferable and their men being so cucked they let their women become insufferable.
Yeah, it is kind of it's the blue pill mentality. It really is that caused whole. It's not even women's fault. That's the funny thing. It's other men's fault. Yeah. Not to get off track, but anyway, one of the that's Dr. Mangala, one of the villains in World War II. See, I try not to make all the villains demons because that would get boring over time. But I try to spice it up. I'll have like robots and aliens.
So is he undead, or did he just suffer from some horrific injuries?
Horrific injuries, and he kind of was experimenting with their blood in World War II. So he injected it into himself so he could, survive.
Oh, so during during World War II, he didn't just experiment on the Jews. He caught one of the three brothers, or is that it?
Yeah, he caught one of the brothers and experimented on him. So that's why he's mutated. And Megas in the fourth panel doesn't even remember who he is, and he's the one that set him on fire.
Oh yeah, no, that's I really do love that story point as well. Actually, where you got a villain that carries some grudge, and then whoever they carry the grudge on doesn't even remember them anymore, and that infuriates them even more.
I think that's called pulling a Thanos.
Yeah,
like I don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, oh man, I feel like that on Twitter a lot of times too. I mean, there's just so many people on social media that consider me like worse than Hitler, and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Whatever.
Yeah, just imagine how sheltered your life must be. I mean, I was talking about that the other day when I don't know if the article was real, but they say that in the sequel to Captain Marvel, they were going to tackle online misogyny. And I was thinking, just imagine how sheltered your life must be to think that online misogyny is the modern equivalent to gangsters in the 1940s or the Cold War in the 60s.
Well, yeah, I talk about this a lot, actually, how this is why we can never have world peace, because most of the population, unfortunately, can't live in peace. Because when they are too comfortable, they're not constantly dealing with their own problems. They manufacture problems for everybody else. So if we ever want to actually achieve world peace, we need to find a way to purge people like that who literally can't live peacefully. Because if you make their lives too easy, they will fuck with everyone else until we have another war.
I used to, I was lucky enough to not be dragged into military service because I was like really myopic. I couldn't see shit. And the medic, the military medic decided that it wasn't safe to give me a firearm. But now I think that maybe boot camp should be mandatory for people, or at least some kind of stress early on life to help you discern what's what in life. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are, man. And like I was saying too, you could clearly tell who actually grew up poor, like who had actual problems in their life, because by the time they're like 12, they're already adults.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, here in the West, you got Mark Waid hasn't advanced past age 7 yet.
Yeah, I mean, there used to be like in World War II, kids, 18-year-old kids look like Charles Bronson. And nowadays we have like Mark Waid, like 50-year-old people who look like overweight, wrinkly babies.
Well, not just look, but act. Yeah.
Yeah.
They this is what happens, man. This if you live too this is I obviously fucking hated it at the time, but in hindsight, I'm really glad I grew up dirt poor.
Mind if I share something?
No, you can't, man. You can't do it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna cancel my stream or my screen share here. All right, now you should be able to.
It's just really quick. These are kids from like 1910. They're child laborers and they're smoking cigs.
Holy shit.
Oh, they're probably like 12 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and any one of those three could just whoop Mark Waid's ass. No question.
They would make him cry just talking to him.
Yeah.
They would utter one sentence and he'd get triggered and start crying. That's right. That's the difference.
Well, he'd go on Twitter first.
He'd be crying as he's posting on. Yeah, no, he'd run to the bathroom, lock himself in a stall, and he'd be crying on the toilet as he's tweeting from his phone. I think that's the common behavior these days, right?
Hashtag bullied by 1940s kid.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I got some super chats here. I need to take care of that. So one of them actually from last stream that came in at the last second. So Devin Stark, thank you for the 2. What I don't get is them listening to non-customers. Yeah, that's a topic we can resume after this, is how you got all these. The reason people like us, the reason we can break in and make our own stuff like this is because the mainstream industry is hiring people with no talent and then churning out garbage and telling their own fans to go fuck themselves. And like your boy Zach's car video he put out earlier today, he had a damn good point where the pros can just insult the fuck out of the fans and the fans have to just be 100% respectful. So we're in this really weird situation where the fans are held to a higher standard of behavior than the pros are. And I'm like, this is literally the opposite of what it should be. And that's why this industry is dying. So if they want to die, they can die. And then last sigil, thank you for the 2. It just says bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Yeah, well, that's why we were talking about Gail Simone. So, and Zeranks, thank you for the 5. I think putting it down to social media removes the responsibility from those engaging in these actions. Using this idea, you should be worse. No, yeah. See, this is actually why Penny Arcade put out they had a theory they called the greater internet fuckwad theory, which means if you take a normal person and you give them anonymity, they turn into a total fuckwad. And I say they have the equation right. You just have to move some of the variables around. So I say you take a total fuckwad and you remove their anonymity and you get a normal person. Because in my opinion, how you act when there's no consequences for your actions is who you really are.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really valid point. I keep saying it's not even anonymity. It's the fact that you're convinced that you are never going to run into this guy because he lives at the other side of the ocean or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is clearly what happens when you think you can run your mouth and there will be no consequences.
Yep, that's right. And see, and you could tell because there are quite a lot of people who you take away the consequences from their actions and they're still good people. Now, the one exception would be if you're playing a character or something, you're doing a bit. Fine. If you're clearly acting, that's one thing. But then you got people like Gail Simone. As soon as she found out she can, get away with not working and just weaponize social media. Like, yeah, this is who she really is. Her first few years in the industry, that was the act.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a good example of the whole power corrupts. It's some kind of a level of power, being able to talk shit without getting hit.
Oh yeah, that's definitely fucking true, man. And then also one more. T Heat, thank you for the 2. Enjoying the stream. What I miss? Well, pretty much everything. But yeah, we'll go back to we're gonna definitely have to get back to talking about some SOS, especially now that Ibai is here, gonna have to be talking about that. But I
gotta say that I appreciate that you pronounce my first name correctly. It's a rarity among Americans. So thanks for that.
Oh, well, in case you can't tell by my accent, I'm not exactly a native English speaker myself, so yeah, there's a little bit of an advantage there, but cool. Yeah, I know how it is, man. Like, my name's the same way, like my real name. Nobody ever pronounces it right.
Yeah, I've been called everything since eBay, Yvonne, everything. I'm used to that already. The people just call me Canales, and I'm cool with that.
Now, is Canales how you actually pronounce your last name? Just
that's it. Even though some people actually call me Canales because one time that's an old college joke because I joked about attending classes disguised as Galactus just to troll a teacher, and people began to call me Canalus the Devourer. So that's where my nickname comes from.
Oh, that is awesome, man. Holy shit. Oh, actually, so I got to. I'm just going to take, since you got the 2 of you, 2 more fellow CGers here. I got to, and for the almost 250 people in the stream, I actually got I got a new little piece. That my artist just finished today. So he's in the chat as well as a Toxic Man Baby. So now compared to mainstream comics, what do you think of that?
Nice.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be a black and white version on your Indiegogo?
Well, we were thinking about having a black and white version eventually, but we're going to have someone else shade it because my artist is drawing these with the intention of it being colored. And I mean, Ibai, I'm sure you know damn well that art that's meant to be colored, like it's drawn completely differently than the stuff you do that's meant to stay black and white. But actually, this may be something we talk about because we may need a black and white artist to do the shading. So if that's something you'd be able to do, maybe we can talk about that later.
Well, I would love to. I don't wanna commit myself to it because I don't know when I'm going to be available. And I never thought I would be saying that, But yeah, I mean, if I'm available, I'd be happy to.
Cool. Because I know we got that was it Kyung Lee. Yeah, I'm quite sure he could do it as well because I mean he even draws in the manga style. But
I'm trying to say that if you want someone to like shade with dots and all that manga style, and Kyung Lee is a great choice.
Yep. Oh, definitely. But I'm quite sure he's probably going to be pretty busy. And I know, it's going to really suck for Chimera here. But I mean, yeah, this is something that I know I'm not an artist myself. So I know damn well any artist I work with, if they ever hit it big, they're going to probably do their own projects, which I mean, it's fine. I mean, I think you all should, but we see this already. I mean, Ethan, he's only doing his own stuff. Malin, he got his start on Jawbreakers, but now he's doing all of. I think he may be willing to do covers, but I'm quite sure John Malin would not do pages for anybody now because he's making way more money on his own stuff. And
yeah, I was thinking about that today. Like everyone just seems to be doing their own IPs. More power to them. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to find artists. So.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. So me and Chimera are in this funny position where there's 2 things we can do. Yeah, where we could either resign ourselves to just being the launching pads for artists, or we can, or we're just going to have to do the same deal that like what Nasser and Donald DeLay had, where it'll be a co-ownership type thing. Yeah, that's. But we see how that can potentially end up. But if you want to have a good relationship with an artist permanently, and make sure they actually give a fuck, then yeah, that's Yeah, we're gonna have those two options available to us.
I think it's going to become a typical insult within Comicsgate to tell the writers to learn to draw. Like, it's become an insult to tell journalists to learn to code. You learn to draw, artist, writer.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But it'd be fucking hilarious if that happened though. And how funny would it be if some writer was just constantly being told to learn to draw, and then he leaves for 5 years, and he comes back and he does better than all the artists that were telling him that?
It's doable. It's doable.
Yeah.
You just have to practice and find the right teachers, and you can become a very, very good at art just in a single year. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, I used to draw back
yeah.
when I was like 12, but I wanted to focus on my writing, and I'm still, working.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I agree, man. That's that. I tried learning to draw multiple times, and then I always just stopped because I got. Every time I start, it's when my job is in a little bit of a lull. So I'm not having to do overtime a lot.
Having a job sucks.
Yeah, I know, man. It does. But actually, the same shit happened now, where for the longest time, my job was relatively stress free. But then, right as we launched the Blade Devil pre-launch campaign, then it's like, oh yeah, would you like to be doing overtime for 3 weeks? Like, oh, go fuck yourself. but unlike the previous times where I was just trying to learn to draw or something, I couldn't just put this on the back burner. And there's other people working with me on this that rely on me to keep going. And obviously, if this does well enough, this could be my future. So I can't just stop. So, well, I guess I'm going to do what you're doing. I'm just not going to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sacrifice that I do gladly. I mean, it's either of two things. I can remain anonymous and get 8 hours of sleep every day, or I can sacrifice some sleep and chase my dream and become a comic book artist. And so, it's a choice cost, as they taught us in economic class.
Yeah, cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, something like that. I'm hastily translating what goes through my brain.
Well, I'm kind of fortunate because I have a night job, and sometimes it can be really dead. So I have time to write some notes down, for when I get home and write.
Oh, for me though, it's thankfully I work from home now. So if I'm stuck in like a 3-hour worthless meeting, I no longer just. When I was physically at the office, it fucking sucked because I had to sit there in the room, and the whole time I was just fighting to stay awake. Like that was the challenge in these meetings, because I only needed to be there for like 5 minutes of it, and then they refused to just let me go. Say, "Oh no, you need to be here. You need to be aware of what's going on. You need to hear this." And I'm just thinking to myself, "No, I fucking don't, because I know you idiots are going to change your mind in 2 days anyway. I don't need to know any of this shit." But, and I've been right every single time about that, by the way. I have a pretty good record with that. So I was fighting to stay awake, and it was horrible. But now, if I'm I'm on the phone when I'm stuck in that 3-hour useless meeting. So I just I just lay the phone down, and I set it on speaker so I can hear it, and then I'm just working, just writing some shit up, just doing. Yeah, I'm really just listening to see when my name is called, basically, and then
it's like they say in Men in Black. You will either suffer a psychotic break, or you'll get used to it.
That's right. Oh, I learned my lesson the hard way at my first job right out of college. Yeah, where I made the mistake of they gave me 3 months to do a project, and I finished it in like 2 weeks, and I actually turned it in early. A big fucking mistake, because because then because the way they had it there is you had to charge your time to individual contracts. Yeah, and the problem with that was so when I turned my project in over 2 months early, what they did, management closed that charge code and pocketed all the extra money because they didn't charge the client any less. Management just pocketed the money, basically. It closed that code, so I couldn't charge to it anymore. And then they're like, "Oh, well, you better ask someone else if they'll let you charge on their project, or else you're not getting paid." Never turned any work in early again.
I guess that's a lesson that we should learn. Don't make your employers too comfortable, because then they will be expecting like always optimal results from you. No, don't do that.
Oh yeah, no, that's a different issue, but kind of similar. Yeah, that's this is yeah, 'cause that's happened before too. If you do too good of a job once, then they expect that same level of performance from you every time. So yeah, I only do that. I only do that when it's an accident, really, or if it's an emergency. Like my boss threw one on me last week actually. Yeah, he called me he called me like it was Wednesday evening, and said, "Hey, you know this thing that we normally set aside like 2 weeks to do when we're installing it for a customer? Yeah, can you have it done by Friday for this conference?" And I knew it wasn't a question, I guess.
That's office space. I can imagine the guy like coming to your cubicle with a coffee and, "Hi, Golden Eagle, how's it going?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's how it is. That's it. See, Office Space. I mean, obviously, both of you have seen the movie, which is great because the first time I saw Office Space, all my friends were saying it was the best movie ever, and I watched it. And this was before I had an office job. Like I only did blue collar work before this, and I barely made it through the movie. It was boring as fuck. I was fighting to stay awake. I felt like beating the shit out of my friends for recommending this piece of shit to me. And then I got an office job and I watched it again, and it's the best thing ever. I get all, because previously I didn't get any of the jokes. So that's why it was boring shit. But then after I lived through that and I'm watching the movie, like, oh God, this is just perfection.
Actually, that's my measure to know how mature you're becoming. I mean, I'm getting old, and I'm realizing that because I'm enjoying movies that were boring to me when I was a kid. Because now I get them.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, man. That's a damn good point. Yeah, that's actually why I really love a lot of those kids movies where they know that you're going to have parents watching this with the kids. So knowing that, they actually add a bunch of jokes that only adults would get into their kids' properties, like just for the parents to laugh at. At least they used to, because now because previously you'd be able to have like some sexual humor here and there in children's movies because the fucking parents are being forced to watch this shit too. But now are you trying to sexualize a kid's movie? Pedophile.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. Speaking of, have you seen the Thundercats cartoon?
Thundercats Boar? Yeah.
Because like this is so vastly different from what I watched as a kid. Because we had like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, and other stuff. Like there was some adult humor in between there. It was watchable. Like I feel sorry for kids nowadays because this shit is unwatchable.
Well, no, it is, and that's why everyone's watching anime now, even kids, because even the anime aimed at kids doesn't treat them like fucking retards like Western cartoons do.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Used to be family friendly, meant like for the whole family, like it had like stuff that kids could enjoy, but also the grown-ups. Okay, kids friendly means it's retarded.
Yeah, exactly. It's meant to, if you've mentally aged past the age of 3, you're not going to like this crap. And that's what they're trying to pitch to like 13-year-olds now. Yeah, it makes no sense. But
I just don't understand how they get profit off of that Thundercats cartoon. Like, who watches that?
No, nobody gets. It's just like with comics. I think
it's a money laundering scheme. I'm pretty sure someone high up in Cartoon Network is in cahoots with some kind of Bolivian drug dealer, and they're like laundering cocaine money with Thundercat Road.
Well, that's modern art. Modern art is a money laundering scheme.
Yeah.
But no, this like comics, the Western comic industry, and that No, and what else? So Western comics, these kids shows, these kids cartoons. No, that's not a money laundering scheme. That's you got some rich activists are willing to fund this crap at a loss to push their agenda. That's what I believe that is. And I'm just saying, from my perspective too, if I was a millionaire, I would use some of that money to get shit made that I would like. Because I know some of the stuff that I like may not necessarily be profitable, but I'd be willing to fund its development to see it become a reality. And that's what a lot of these people are doing. They're just like, no, I know that my ideology is not profitable, but I'm going to pay these guys paychecks and have them shit this out anyway.
Isn't it what George Lucas is doing right now with all the money that he got from Disney? Like he's making movies that only he likes.
Yeah, like passion projects.
Yeah, like Red Tails and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, now they got him back to work on was it Mandalorian or some kind of Disney Plus show or something.
Yeah, I think they got him on as an advisor or something. But honestly, I would just turn them down if I was him. It's like, nah, fuck. Because he gave them his entire outline for the next 3 movies, and they just threw it away and did their own thing. And now they're coming back to ask him for help. But on the other hand, I've said before, don't sell out unless you're willing to walk away. That's the important, because once you give the rights to your creation to somebody else, it's not yours anymore, and you need to fucking accept that they're going to do things with it that you may not approve of. If that thought pisses you off, don't sell out. So I actually have zero sympathy for George Lucas.
Yeah,
because he sold out.
Not everyone can be John Carpenter. I don't know if you know about John Carpenter, but he has like this really nonchalant attitude towards all the remake projects based on his movies. He's like, I think Rob Zombie phoned him once when he was making the Halloween remake, and he was like, "Hey, John, I just want you to know I'm going to remake your movie." And John Carpenter was like, "All right, how much are you going to pay me? Like $5,000, $15,000 or something? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't care." I think that's the right attitude. You sold the rights, man. That's fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. So if you already sold out, you got no right to bitch with what the person you sold out to does with it. It's not yours anymore. So as long as I care about my projects, and I said I may consider selling out once I finish. So say if I finish Blade Devil and that's all I ever want is to do with it, and someone wanted to pay me a couple million, like, oh, sure, you can have it. And I just let all my fans know. It's like, hey, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. So if this new company turns it to shit, well, you could just not consider it canon. Like with Disney Star Wars. Disney Star Wars is not canon.
Yeah, that is not canon. There's no way I'm going to let Disney Star Wars replace Crimson Empire. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, that's a different universe. I just say it's a different universe. It's a different universe.
Yeah, that's right. Disney Star Wars is alternate universe fan fiction. The expanded universe is canon.
Yeah, I'm with Iva. Crimson Empire is my favorite, right next to Dark Empire. And like Kathleen Kennedy can't tell me that all the Dark Horse books I have are not canon. Like, fuck you, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not just us. Most of the other fans are saying the same thing. And this, see, I don't get why Disney did this. They paid like $4.5 billion for Star Wars, and they are so stupid they forgot what they paid for. They didn't pay for Star Wars. They paid for the built-in fan base.
Yeah, they paid for the brand because they thought, and I guess I can understand why, that if you just have to stick Star Wars onto something for it to sell like whatever, to sell a lot, you can shoot your cat with the camera taking a shit, slap Star Wars into it, and it will sell millions. Well, turns out it's not that much.
Well, one time. You could do it once.
Yeah, people are not that
like
stupid.
Yeah, it's like I say with backstabbing as well. You could stab someone in the back one time, but as soon as everyone knows that's what you do, no one's ever going to expose their backs to you again.
Yeah, and just going to this project SOS, like I've put too much time in it to sell it. Like if I were to have it made, I would have to have like almost all control, not Not total, but I would have to like say no, fix this. No, it's supposed to be this.
So we're talking no Netflix adaptations turning like Megus into a black lesbian, right?
I would only picture it as animation. I can't picture this as live action.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing with us with Blade Devil, where it would work. I mean, I as a medium, I like animation way better than live action anyway because you're not limited by reality, which which is great for some if you're doing supernatural stuff. But I think an arrangement like a lot of Japanese arrangements like that with anime, the way they have it is the original creator of the manga or the light novel almost always has veto powers. Like they could, if they don't like the way the anime is going, they could say no. It's like, no, you're gonna change that. But now, unfortunately, most of them don't give a fuck, so they never exercise those powers. But a few of them, I mean, yeah, I think there are a few manga authors that are notoriously difficult to work with because they actually use their veto powers. Like they're always there, like micromanaging the whole project. And I'm like, yeah, that would probably, no, I wouldn't be that bad. If I would like to have a say in who gets chosen to make it, and I just pick someone who I actually trust, and then I'd tell them what the lines are, and then I wouldn't be micromanaging them. I'd just be watching what they do. And then when it's like, oh yeah, Shiara is going to be a trans black lesbian now, no, she's not. Nope.
Yeah, that's what George Lucas is, or one of his lawyers should have done. He should have had like a clause, like I'm supposed to be an advisor and oversee production.
Yeah, well, I think that he probably had the option, but he would have gotten less money. So Disney paid like 4.5 billion to flat out buy everything from him. Disney owns it now. They own 100% of Star Wars. Yeah, it's not it's not a contract, it's not a license. Like no, it's theirs.
Yeah, the only silver lining is that Jon Favreau is fixing the shit, and I think Kathleen Kennedy is banned from the set of Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I read that.
Yeah.
I hope it's actually true, but to be fair, it's too little, too late. Honestly.
Well, I just love if you watch one of the set photos from season 1. She's in like the back behind Jon Favreau, and she looks pissed off.
yeah, because as she's there watching, she knows that what he's doing is way better than all the shit she crapped out, and she knows her days are numbered when she sees him working.
Right.
Oh yeah. It would be like if an actual competent writer was hired to write for Batwoman and Gail Simone was there watching. Like, uh-oh. So how can I guilt them into firing this bitch?
That's like being cucked for a female writer. That's the equivalent, the literary equivalent of being a cuck. Like watching someone take that what you love and doing it better.
You know, well, in the opposite end, it's like that South Park episode where the boys have like these visions of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg raping.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's. And I see. For me, that's really weird too, because what I'm used to seeing is these incompetent fuckers invading everything I love and turning it into shit. Like it's pretty rare when I see something that was turned into shit become good again. But at that point, unfortunately, it's too little, too late, because the damage that was done to Star Wars. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to recover.
I don't know. Maybe they will like pull a Terminator Dark Fate and say that the previous 2 or 3 movies are in canon and just like do some kind of soft reboot, but that would be like beyond retarded. But well, if they can do it with Terminator, why not Star Wars?
Well, I don't think Disney would never do that, because that would require them admitting that they fucked up for 6 movies.
The most you can expect is, oh no, The Mandalorian takes place in an alternate universe. That's the only thing I could see possible. They're just going to ignore it.
Yeah, but even if they do, I mean, I said that before actually, where that would probably bring me back to Star Wars, is if they decanonize the Disney trilogy and do it right. That would bring me back. But most other people, they just, if you've been a massive Star Wars fan for like 40 years, and then they did that. I mean, it'll be like with me with Fire Emblem, actually. It'll be with, because after Nintendo fucked up the release of Fates, like so bad, it was like unrecognizable. Even though, I mean, I keep hearing that Three Houses is a really good game, but I mean, and see, I've bought every single Fire Emblem game released in the West until Fates. I've been a huge fucking fanboy of that franchise, and now I couldn't care less about it. Nintendo killed all love I had for Fire Emblem. So even after it gets good again, I just don't care. Like, nah, it's forever tainted in my eyes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think there's did you come back from that? It's like what they did to Captain Marvel in the Marvel canon. They turned her into a fascist and a murderer, and you know, in canon she's apparently completely justified, and everything she's like the bee's knees. And I don't know how you can fix that. I mean, that's not fixable.
So I do notice with this Baby Yoda, everybody seems to love it. I think Baby Yoda is the equivalent of jingling your keys to get a kid's attention. Like, hey, look over here. Hey, look over here. Because like everyone loves Baby Yoda.
No, and what Disney's doing is no one's going to love Baby Yoda past the end of this year. I'd be willing to bet money on that because Disney is milking this shit way too hard.
No, it could work. They're definitely jingling the keys pretty hard towards us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but it's just like jingling the keys to get the kids' attention. If the keys are always jingling, the kids will just consider it background noise and start ignoring it.
Probably a baby Mace Windu then.
Oh God,
I want a baby Jabba.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, Baby Jabba would be pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, you just do a baby show, but with Star Wars, like Baby Vader and Baby Luke.
Oh God, yeah. Just do Rugrats, but with Star Wars characters.
That would probably sell.
Yeah. Oh man, that would, but then you'd have all the super nerds there when you see Baby Darth Vader. That Anakin didn't look like that as a baby. Come on. This isn't canon. Shut the fuck up. Oh man! Oh yeah, Baby L. Jackson. Yeah, that's now that'd be the thing. If they did a Baby Mace Windu, that'd be real fucking easy because Samuel L. Jackson would just have to walk in there with his baby photos. Like here, there you go.
Yeah, he always looked like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
Well, he ages great. It doesn't look like he changed a lot since he made Pulp Fiction, and that was like 26 years ago.
Yeah, he's 72, 73.
70, man. That's insane. That's a grandpa. Look at him. He looks like he could kick your ass.
Man, yeah. You know, I think a lot of guys can do that, I noticed. You know, after a certain age, like say once you hit 30, 40-ish as a guy, if you stay in shape and you dye your hair, I mean, there's no going around going gray, but if you stay in shape and you dye your hair, you can look roughly the same. I mean, there'll be a few wrinkles added, obviously, but other than that, you could.
There's a thing called old man strength, and that's a fact. And it's that for some reason, like men between, I don't know, like 50 and 70, something like that, are like superhumanly strong. I don't know if that's a thing too in the US, but here in Spain, like people who work the fields and, you know, countrymen are able like to crush nuts with their bare hands and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I don't think that they get stronger. It's just that men in general, like I mean, see, I noticed this myself where I stopped working out for a few months. I mean, I was like real sick for a while last year. I stopped working out for like 2 months. And then when I was getting back into it, I didn't lose any strength. I just lost endurance. Yeah. I was still able to lift exactly as much as before, just not as many times. And I think that's what I noticed with my dad. Because my dad is still as strong as I remember him being like 25 years ago right now as an old man, but he can only do it for a very limited time. So I think that's more of what it is. And I guess the old man's strength could just be it's a combination of you not losing your strength yet, and then but you develop more pain resistance. So like the crushing that nut with your bare hands, I think you could do that. It's just if you squeeze down hard enough, it starts hurting, so you stop. But when you if you get the more pain resistance or your skin gets thicker, yeah, you're actually able
that
to
makes
use your full
sense. Like
strength.
like in all people, their skin becomes like leather, and they're able like withstand like knife cuts and stuff like that. Maybe even like small firearms.
Yeah, and that's actually what I believe it is. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of you still have the same strength you used to. It's just combined with pain resistance now.
I am kind of curious what these soy boys are going to be like when in their 80s, 70s, 80s.
Exactly like they are now.
Well, especially like all these people putting in estrogen, like if you're male to female or female to male, like you're going to look fucking weird when you're old.
Well, and in their case, their life expectancy is 40 years old, so I wouldn't be expecting.
Yeah.
Gail Simone is entirely made of leather.
Gail Simone is like if you would put like a ton of yogurt inside a leather bag. That's how Gail Simone works.
Yeah. Oh, I still remember that meme that triggered the fuck out of her like 2 years ago. Remember the dolphin one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was apparently really pissed at that, I've heard. Yeah, like really fucking pissed. and I'm just like, dude, if people make awesome memes like that of me, that'd be funny as fuck. But man, yeah, when people talk shit about me, it could be pretty funny. You just gotta be able to laugh at it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if people roast you with style, and I've been roasted with style by Nurkish when Nurkish was still a thing, and I actually had to respect his ability. I'm not even mad. That's awesome, like the meme.
Yeah, that's right. And if it's a really good, I mean, if it's so basically, if someone says something to me that if they said it to somebody else, I'd be rolling on the ground laughing. I'm probably still going to be laughing if they say it's to me. It's like, okay, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like roast this book. It's like with Zach. He had his first Jawbreakers book before Lost Souls, and like a bunch of smaller YouTubers were roasting it, and he welcomed it. So.
Oh god, no, I still have that PDF somewhere. Yeah, the black and white Jawbreakers with one panel on each page being read. Yeah
for no reason.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to develop some new style. It's like, ooh, this is going to be a new fad. Like, no, it's not. I'm glad he is actually capable of taking advice and listening, because that was horrible.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I got Lost Souls. I'm like, oh, you know what? He really improved. This is really good.
Well, actually, I wasn't. I mean, I actually downloaded that first one. Obviously, I read that. I was like, it's not bad, but I mean, it could be way better. And then when he announced his campaign, I waited until I found out who the actual artist was, because then when he said, "Oh, it's not going to be me," it's like, okay, and then he announced John Malin. It's like, okay, now this could work. I'm quite sure if the two of them are working together, Malin could fix him. So, and he did. I mean, and both of them, I think, have improved after that.
Yeah, someone in chat said Claymore. I fucking love that show.
Yeah, no, yeah, Claymore is fucking awesome. Now that was one of the inspirations for Blade Devil.
Yeah, I love Berserk. Berserk is one of my. I first got that in 2012 when those animated movies came out. That was one of my biggest influences on this.
I need to read more manga or watch more anime. I haven't watched anything non-hentai in ages now.
Okay. I still watch a lot of newer anime that's coming out, but I admit a lot more of it is hentai. Yeah, man. The only complaint I had about the Claymore anime, though, is the entire last like 4 or 5 episodes were just filler. Yeah. And it turned into Dragon Ball Z at the end, where just, oh, this isn't even my final form. I can power up and turn into this. Like, oh, God. But until then, that it was spectacular, honestly. Berserk X Claymore when. Now, I don't think that Berserk is never going to be crossed over with anything, at least if Miura has any say in it, because you know how slow he is at releasing Berserk. Do you really think he has time for a collaboration?
Yeah, I've been buying Berserk for like 8 years, and I finally finished. I'm up to volume 40.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
the series isn't even done yet.
Yeah, and it's coming out at like one volume every 2 years. Oh man, I got a lot of super chats to get through here. So Changus Khan, thank you for the 5. URG just got the stream but can't stay. Taking my shekels and see you on Nikki's stream. Oh, are you rewatching that? Or, I'll probably be back on Ricada sometime. I hope if you'll have me. And Artemis Worm, thank you for the 2. Yo, we buy Shield Necromancer on Indie Planet.
Yes,
Hey?
yes. I gotta say really quickly. My collaboration with Artemis Worm, also known as Jacob Morris, is on Indie Planet right now. It's a fantasy noir story, starring a necromancer for hire solving crimes in a techno magical metropolis. So if you're into the whole like, I want to say Warhammer 40K, that kind of stuff, you're gonna enjoy the crap out of that the comic. I certainly did enjoy the crap out of drawing it. There you go. That's the one.
Yeah, apparently his printer was Kablam, who I'm using for my printer as well, and they're like really good. They print, fulfill, and they have their own little website.
I can tell you that the quality, the paper quality in that comic book is awesome. You can like cut down a tree with it. It's like really, really hard and shiny and stuff.
Yeah, cover's sweet.
Yeah.
It's very thick.
All right, so there you go. I got some Necromancer Tombstone Blues up on stream right now. Cool. And NK33, thank you for the 2. Talk to Doomcock to introduce you to Nerdrotic and get on Friday night tights. Was it a wider group of geeks?
Very Doomcock.
Hey, maybe, yeah. I mean, I was actually on Doomcock stream once, as a call-in for like 5 minutes, but that still counts. Yeah, maybe. I mean, see, I know who Nerdrotic is. So people were telling me, it's like, oh, you should get Nerdrotic on and talk about this stuff. I'm like, I've never talked. I know who he is, but I've never talked to the guy. I'm not just going to.
I keep getting him like recommendations on Facebook, friend him because I see him, but I'm too shy to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, but that's a good point. I do have to find some way to get in contact with him, without just being all weird and autistic about it. Yeah, because I mean, how do you both of you guys react if someone you don't know about and never heard of just suddenly starts talking to you? It's I don't know. I'll have to find a way to do that. I don't want to be the guy that just shows up one day making demands. So. And Tabal Links, thank you, the 5. Like Disney Star Wars not so long ago in a galaxy not far enough away. Proof you can go there and buy sporks. That is true. It was like $12 for something that used to be a free giveaway. That's Disney for you. And Damashep, thank you, the 2. Clone Wars movie had Jabba's kid who was a baby. That's true. And I think from what I remember in the expanded universe, the Hutts are not asexual. What do you call it when you can like some slugs can do, where they can be both male and female, and
self-fertilizing, something like that?
Yeah. So Jabba could literally fuck himself and get pregnant. Yeah, that's
why he's so fat, because he doesn't have to stay in shape to
exactly.
Action,
Yeah, he could fuck himself whenever he wants. Yeah. And Albine Fox, thank you for the 5. Now, I won't live till 80. I drink enough alcohol and Coca-Cola per week to kill a few grown, healthy men. Also, will Blade Devil have mind flayers? Dude, so here's the thing with Dungeons and Dragons. Even when Wizards of the Coast, before they were total cucks, with third edition and 3.5, they basically open sourced the entire game system, which was one of the reasons it was such a smashing success. But there was a few things they didn't open source that are actually trademarked. One of those is the Mind Flayer, and another one's the Beholder, for example. So if you look at all the open source documentation that they put out for the D20 system, you're never going to find those creatures there, because those are like Wizards of the Coast trademark. So, and I wouldn't put it past Wizards of the Coast to try to sue my ass if I had something even remotely resembling a Mind Flayer. So no, there won't be Mind Flayers, but there will be Eldritch Horrors, which actually is what Mind Flayers and them were based off of. So, and Lucian, thank you for the 2. Berserk made me not want to get into Goblin Slayer. Well, why is that, man? I mean, they're both completely different stories. So you could like both. I do. And Michael Robinson. Oh, thank you for the 10, man. I'm looking forward to Expendables. Oh, me too. I'm looking. I can't wait for that book to come out. That's going to be hilarious. I'm surprised it's. I know it sounds weird. It's like, oh, they only made like 130 so far, but for an Expendables franchise that Stallone himself is on, that just seems. I was expecting a lot more, but maybe it's going to rocket up to at least 200,000 for the before the end of the campaign. But yeah, I mean, after seeing how well Earthworm Jim did, I was actually surprised that Expendables didn't hit those same numbers. But hopefully hopefully they made enough to continue doing it, because I mean, I know they made Expendables comics before. And I think
written by Chuck Dixon, actually.
Yeah, and I think that this one, the Expendables Go to Hell, is I think they're already outperforming the previous run. So I mean, I just hope that Stallone sees that and is like, okay, we could grow this, and lets them keep doing it.
Yeah, Zach said he was like, it's making more money than God King did per day. He said $9,000 more. So I think he's on track for 200K.
Yeah, the thing is, from what I've seen, though, I don't know if it's true for I mean, there could be extenuating circumstances. Like I saw that with both the first Jawbreakers with Lost Souls and with Tug's book as well, The Littlest Umbrella, where they were kind of flatlining for a while, and then massive drama happens, and you get a huge spike. So, but not counting those, I mean, most campaigns I've seen, you could tell how well it's going to go based on the first day or two.
So I think we should be tweeting to Gail pictures of SOS by Canales.
Yeah, exactly. Have Gail advertise it for you, especially if she's mentally unstable right now.
Actually, she helped Zach and I also Jacob, and you know, when we were making Necromancer here on screen, they helped us promote it, because they thought that there's such a thing as bad publicity for a comic book. There actually isn't. I mean, there's not enough people that can be retweeting your stuff when you want it to be popular. And yeah, I think it was what's his name, this Canadian guy, Richard Pace. Richard Pace was roasting this comic book. I said, "Oh, this is terrible, this and that, and the tangents and whatnot," and that actually gave us a bunch of new sales.
Yeah, that's.
I kind of blanked out for a minute. I completely forgot who Richard Pace was. I remember now.
Well, see, the funny thing with Richard Pace is now he's on the receiving end of what he was doing to other people, and
he actually said something that was completely normal. Like he was saying, like, you know, what was it, the transgender athletes beating the fuck out of the female, it's not good. There's something about transgender sports. What he said was actually normal, and they roasted him.
Basically, that, you know, men shouldn't beat women. It's like an unfair competition. No matter if you put a wig on you and grow a couple of tits, you're still a man genetically. And when it comes to like upper body strength, it's technically still a guy beating a woman, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
but you know, if you're a feminist, that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, Fallon Fox, that's who it was.
Yeah. Didn't Fallon Fox actually kill that woman?
No, he broke her skull.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Was that the one where he just walked in on her sleeping with another man or something? Was that a different?
No, this was like UFC fighting or something.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that. Oh yeah. Okay, I got it now, because I was thinking there was a. I was watching Ricada's stream with Drexel last night, and they were talking about that one guy who, he like hospitalized his ex-wife, after. No, she tried to taunt him. Like, she sent him a message, like, "Oh, I'm waiting for you at home," with like a picture of her naked in the bed and something. And he comes home and she's screwing another dude. So, okay, I got those two kind of mixed up. But, my view, I have the exact same view as Drexel does if you watch Ricada's stream last night when it comes to trans women in women's sports. I say, go ahead. I mean, the women themselves, they wanted this. They're the ones that were. And what I love about this thing is the feminists can't fight against it. the feminists can't fight against the basically biological men in women's sports.
Well,
Because
you're not saying that feminists have actually made things worse for women, right? Because that would be crazy.
there's no way that would happen now. But no, regardless of how things are for women, what I find fucking hilarious is the feminists can't argue against it. They have to sit back and let trans women take everything from them and destroy them, because if they were to say that it's not fair that you allow biological men to compete with women, they'd be admitting that men are superior to women in some ways, which goes against everything they've been trying to brainwash us into for the past couple of decades. So they can't argue against trans women in women's sports without admitting their ideology is bullshit. So they're stuck, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious because they're called TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists, I think, and they're basically just fighting each other, and I love it.
Well, to quote Jordan Peterson, may he pull through soon. When your ideology is flawed, it's inevitable the practicants of that ideology end up dividing in like warring factions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so fucking true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
well, no, I was just gonna say they're getting triggered because they're getting replaced by the waifu bots, and then they get especially triggered by the femboys. Like, men are now starting to date traps, and they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't like that men are better women than women are.
Well, what can we say? I mean, being adaptable and being able to adapt yourself to the circumstances. That's I think that's an essentially masculine trait.
Yeah, it's and see, this is one of those funny things too, where every time we tried to make the point that women can't keep up with men when it comes to like say special forces training as an example, and then they'd always say it's like, well, 0.5% of women can. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And now if that's good enough to basically declare there's no difference between men and women, then I better not see them arguing against trans women in women's sports.
The funny thing is, I always bring up the case of this woman called Lucia Riker. She's a Dutch kickboxer. Used to be, I think she's retired now. Back in the 1990s, she was convinced that she could beat a man, and she would fight actual Thai champions from Thailand, and she will almost always routinely get her ass kicked. But she kept trying, and she had my respect for that. But I think she settled the question once and for all. Women are not suited to defeat men in combat. That's maybe 1 out of 100, but that's not like the norm with women. Women are not built for that like men are.
And even then, I mean, you could say the top women's MMA fighter in the world could probably beat an average dude, but put the top women's fighter against the top men's fighter, and I know what the result's going to be 100% of the time. Yeah. But and even they know that. But they don't want to admit it. The fact was AEW actually their women's champion is a trans woman right now. So I'm really enjoying watching all of this. Now I do feel sorry for the normal women and girls who just wants to compete in their sport and they don't care about this political bullshit. I mean they're collateral damage for what feminism has done to the West. So.
Yeah, the future being female, I think the future is going to be full of traps.
Yeah. The future is female. No, chicks with dicks, maybe, but and robots. Oh, dude, no, maybe that could be what. Yeah, because all the Project Melody fans are saying the future is now. So we could kind of work off of that too. We could just show Melody and the future's female, bitch. just not biologically female.
Doesn't that basically mean that the future is mectal? Like women are going to be fucking each other, except in the guise of women, and we will make women redundant.
Yeah, yeah, and that's see. I think once we can actually, there's two technologies that will completely upend society. One is the artificial womb, obviously, and the other is that there's a creating egg cells from stem cells. So you could have even two gay dudes, and they could have a kid that's biologically both of theirs. And at that point, I'm just kind of I'm thinking again. I'm like, if we advance to that point, what's to stop these guys from combining that with some, was it like genetic engineering and stuff? So they could so all of their kids are always going to be men. And then for women, we just use artificial like robots and stuff like that. Like that's going to be a very interesting future. And unfortunately, I won't be alive to see it, the whole thing. But.
Well, you never know. But maybe that's when they will finally realize that there's more to life than just sex and material stuff. Because for people who claim to be anti-capitalist, they're insanely materialistic. They only think people. They only see people as biological machines that have sex. And they value everything on that. Women will not want to fuck you because this and that. Well, what if I don't want to have sex? What if I only want like companionship? What if I'm like a 70-year-old man who no longer has a sex drive and just wants someone to talk to when he wakes up in the morning? What about that? Because a robot isn't going to give me that. So maybe they will then begin to work in other traits that aren't purely physical, which is what we all want. I don't know if I'm making sense because it's almost 6 a.m. and then the whiskey is still active in my organism. But I think you guys can understand what I'm trying to say here, right?
Just buy a doll.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I will say though, I mean, you got people like Turd Flinging Monkey. I don't know if you know who he is. He's actually streaming right now too. But he's real big on the sex dolls. I mean, fuck, I will admit to even I got one, but it's just for him, it's like a daily thing, I think. But for me, it's like maybe every 1 or 2 months, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of setup, a lot of cleanup after the fact. And I'm just or I could spend like 10 minutes just pull up my favorite hentai and be done with it, because I'm not joking when I say that I treat wanking even like I treat taking a dump. It's just a biological function that I get out of the way when the urge hits and then go back to what I was doing.
There's a thing that having sex with another person, I'm not going to say with a woman, but with another person gives you that just jacking off won't give you. And maybe that's because I'm actually a bit of a romantic, but that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why I think actually women are more materialistic in that sense, because women actually apparently can get satisfied like a dildo and whatever. Men don't do that. Men barely buy like these vagina things, this, I don't know, I've never actually seen one.
Or fleshlight.
Yeah, we don't really like that. We like to have sex with actual people. There's gotta be a reason for that. It's not just like a biological thing.
Well, that's I think as much as women cry about objectification, I think that what you just said shows who really is doing the objectification.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like Drexel says, we need more of this. I think we just need to this country needs to learn its lesson like Poland did with communism.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, that's the funny shit too, because apparently they're the current government in Poland. Now they're unfortunately extremely religious, which I'm not a fan of. But what they're doing is pretty hilarious, because they're apparently rolling. How the feminists here in the West complain that just because Trump decided to say like, no, the definition of rape and sexual assault is actual rape and sexual assault, not looking at you funny, and they're like, oh, this is rolling women's rights back to the 50s. In Poland, they actually are doing that apparently. Like they decided that, yeah, let's. I think most of these problems are because we gave women too much of a voice. Let's take some of this back.
Holy shit! Is Poland like 4chan? If 4chan was a country?
Yeah, it's based. It's based. It's
They
extremely.
they seem to be trolling the fuck out of people all the time. That is true. Yeah, it is fucking hilarious. I love seeing it. And see the thing here, the more that women in as a group, I mean, no, hashtag not all, but the more that they as a group keep fighting against male sexual liberation, the less sympathy I have for them when it backfires on them. Because I mean, it's like them with there's if you walk into a sex shop, you see like almost everything is a sex toy for women. And there's hardly anything there for men, unless men use the same ones and shove them up their asses, I guess. There's no stopping that. But most of them are for women. And for the longest time, women have had all these sex toys and men don't give a fuck. If women had sex robots, men don't give a fuck. But when a man has sex toys, sex robots, women can't fucking stand it. And it just... It's almost as if they know that, they're being replaced because they
I have this theory by which feminism is just the latest way women have of trying to like bring out the alpha in you. They're like prodding you, like poking you just so you can act like an alpha, because that's that's what they actually like.
No, I agree. That's I mean, we talk about shit tests all the time too, and they will cross the line. They know they are crossing the line, but they're testing you because I mean, if you check them and you say fuck you and no, I'm not going to do that, they will stop. But no, they keep shit testing you, and the cucks just keep giving them more and more and more, and that's why we're in the situation we're in now. And I don't blame women for this. It's the beta males that gave them everything. Yeah. And nowadays, it's every time I talk about this, I always got someone like, oh, what, are you afraid of women then? Why don't you just tell them no? No, I'm not afraid of women. I'm afraid of all the white knights and manginas in a mile radius that are going to come to her aid if I tell her no.
Yeah, I mean, feminism wouldn't be shit if it wasn't because of at least in Spain, because the fact that the government is backing it, and they can destroy you by just reporting you to the cops.
Yeah, that's the problem. Women rely on the government too much, and the government caters to them.
Yeah, which is funny because those same women cry about how strong and independent they are and how they don't need a man. And meanwhile, they're surviving by living off of a government that gets its money by taking it from men. Yeah, they're still reliant on men just through a middleman.
I don't know who said it, but a famous anti-feminist woman, probably, I don't know, Camille Paglia, said that women have divorced their husband and married the government instead.
Yeah, no, Camille Paglia is she's one of the smart ones too. I mean, she also admitted it's if women were in charge, we'd still be living in grass huts.
Yeah, I mean, look at all those matriarchies that feminists like to talk about so much. Like, oh, there's this matriarchal society in East Timor or whatever, and you look at it and dude, they don't even have electric power. They will probably die of cholera before age 50. Is that the kind of society you want to live in?
Yeah, and also another example they use was the bonobos.
Yeah,
and then everyone else with a brain is like, yeah, but that's because they have no predators. As soon as a predator comes into the bonobo society, like say if you introduced bonobos to chimpanzees, the bonobos would be extinct by the end of the day because the chimpanzees would just tear them apart. And that's what we're seeing in Europe right now, where you got the actual alpha male, like Middle Easterners and Africans coming in. And every time a woman tries to shit test them, she gets fucking slapped in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I thought I saw a video of some woman like getting slapped, and then another dude came and kicked her. I don't know if that was in Europe or not.
Yeah, I think that was in Germany. Yeah, I remember that. And then some soy boy ran in to try to help her, and he got knocked the fuck out. Yeah. Yeah, and then I remember one guy posted it, and one of my friends actually responded to that video and said, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna withhold judgment on this until I found out what led to this altercation." And I'm inclined to agree, because I mean I know how. I mean, and it's not just women; it's men too. Like people in the West, we've gotten used to the fact that you could do or say anything to anybody, and if they respond in any way, it's harassment, and you get them arrested or assault or something. And then so she was probably being a big red to this African guy, and he's just like, shut the fuck up, bam, just because all she was doing was something that Western men would have let her get away with. And this is why I keep saying too, like how going back to like this whole trans women and women's sports thing, where training women to believe that men will never hit them is so fucking dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah, because let's say 99% of the time it's true. So you got a woman that's just being fucking horrible to men, hating them, doing whatever she wants, and they never fight back. One day she's going to encounter the one guy who's not going to put up with her shit, and she's going to end up in the hospital or dead.
Well, isn't that what explains the whole, taking a slight detour, the whole Birds of Prey situation? I mean, they've been shitting on men, saying that this movie isn't for men and all that, and suddenly when men refuse to go and see the movie, they lose their shit. They're like, fuck, man, why didn't you come watch our movies? Because you told us that you hated us. So what did you expect?
Apparently they're making Harley Quinn sexy again. They leaked some photos of the Suicide Squad, and she looked pretty good. So they learned their lesson.
Honestly, once again, sadly, this is a too little too late scenario. Yeah, where I mean, I know, and I agree with this. Like say if somebody fucks up and you tell them what they did wrong, and then they actually fix it, yeah, you should give them another chance. But there's one caveat to that. Like say, Blizzard used to be my favorite game developer, for example, and I haven't bought their shit for years. And let's say within the next 5 years they learned their lesson and they finally put out something I'd want. If I've already moved on to another company for that, I'm not coming back to Blizzard.
Yeah.
Like say if they actually do good with Diablo 4 and it doesn't have this always online shit and it's going back to how Diablo 2 was, I'm like, no, that's nice, but I'm playing Wolcen now. I don't need Diablo. Yeah, that's the thing too, is because if one company stabs you in the back and says they don't need you anymore, and as they do that, another company comes in and says, actually, we got your back. I mean, we'll gladly give you what you want. Are you going to stab them in the back after they were there for you to go running back to the guy who betrayed you in the first place, even if they do learn their lesson? I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, I wouldn't buy from Blizzard, period, because they treat their employees like crap.
Man, they treat everybody like crap. But
have you seen one of the higher level? I don't know if he's like the CEO or one of the higher level. Like he's basically looks like a woman. He has like a little pride flag. And like I'm pretty sure he's.
J. Allen Brack, yeah. No. He has a funny story though, because I think he's the only one of the original Blizzard guys still there. Funny enough. But I remember he was one of the 3 guys that founded the company. But then he left for like 10, 15 years and he worked at some gambling company or whatever. And then he came back to Blizzard. I mean, I think Activision wanted him back and they brought him back. So unlike the others, I don't think he gives a fuck about gaming or Blizzard or anything. Like he's just milking the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love how he said that. Oh yeah, he looks like a woman, has a pride flag. It's like, yeah, we know. It's easy to know who that is. Oh, by the way, you're at 2628 now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got 4 backers.
Sweet.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
I might explain, scroll up. I'm going to explain like That's one that no, a little below, with the guy with the chainsaw.
This one?
No, the one after that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I tried
Is
to
that
add-
Cecil?
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely Cecil.
Well, that's the Brooklyn Butcher, and I tried to add villains that aren't demons. Like over the years, I added aliens, robots, serial killers. I try to balance it out.
Aliens. So is there going to be one with a sombrero?
Yeah, Volume 2, they will be in space. There's going to be a two-parter in Volume 2, and they're basically just in space, and they'll kind of learn more about their origins. So that'll be kind of fun.
So they originated from space, huh?
No,
or
no.
the serum that created them? Yeah.
No, their father's side is a not human descent. Let's just put it that way.
So he's a mind flayer.
A little bit.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Speaking of Stranger Things, what is with the kid? I didn't pay attention. Did they say Will is like gay now or something?
Oh, I've never. I am not watching any of these shows. So
No. I think I
Yeah.
saw a news article. They said that. I'll try to find it.
well, the one thing I know is they're rebooting Walker Texas Ranger with the original Walker's like gay nephew as the lead now.
What?
I'm not joking.
I know. Like that's the worst part.
Yeah, no, I'll pull it up because that's pretty funny.
I'm trying to find it. I saw something. It horrified me.
Is it me, or is it modern fiction becoming like Tropic Thunder in real life? Like we're reaching those levels of absurdism. Like
I love that movie.
Yeah, well,
No.
like I said though, it's within 50 years. I think the history books, kids are going to be reading about this as the Great Clown Era, and they're going to be laughing. Like the kids are going to be reading about this era in the history books, and they'll be like, "Did they really look like that? Wait! Were they seriously so stupid they thought biology was a social construct? Really?" Like,
Okay.
Yes, this really happened. Like, wow, what a bunch of fucking idiots. Who let these lunatics in charge?
Okay, it was CBR. Of course, it was cringe. It was Will Byers' sexuality shouldn't be up to the audience. So whatever the hell that means.
I want to say yes. A child's sexuality should always be left up to the audience and no one else. Because why are we talking about the kid's sexuality, you filthy degenerates?
Yeah. Anytime these people say something along those lines, I just immediately think, oh, pedophile.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, even that doesn't mean anything anymore. Oh, you like anime, pedophile? Okay. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I mean, you should be able to see this on screen. Yeah. This was, from yesterday. Walker, Texas Ranger gets woke reboots to star gay conservative character. Fans of the original may be less than thrilled.
Why would you need a gay character in Walker, Texas Ranger when you have Chuck Norris, who's able to impregnate any living being in the universe?
Yeah, I know, but I guess I don't think Chuck Norris is fucking old. I don't know if he'd be willing to do that. Yeah, I think he may still have some cameos in. I mean, he's still in there. He's still canon because I think this show, this new guy is his nephew or his brother or something? Huh. Oh yeah, his younger brother. Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward for more shit to laugh at.
By the way, there's another comic called Argonaut. It's kind of a 22-page cyberpunk. So if you get that for $6.
Oh, is there any way where you could get both of them in one?
Well, I was originally going to have it as a stretch goal, and then I just added it as a perk.
Oh, dude, I would say no, especially now since you're talking to a bunch of people who probably haven't backed yet. Just add another perk that's both Argonaut and SOS.
Yeah, I was probably thinking that if we reach 70, I don't know if we'll reach 7,500, but that might cause complications. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it.
Yeah, I guess it can get hard. I've been thinking of my own stretch goals I would be doing when we launch our campaign, and I've noticed from what I've seen in all the others that I think most people would probably just prefer enhancing the base product than adding more, just what was it, tchotchkes to it, as your boy Zach calls them. Yeah. So
I would definitely like a hardcover better. Only because I have like really crowded shelves and a floppy just won't stand the pressure.
Yeah, or if nothing else, at least square bound.
Yeah.
So then, other than rather than stapled, but yeah, man. Like I was thinking, even with Blade Devil, we're gonna add. Right now, we're planning 2 side stories to be in there, but like how Ethan released like 2 ash cans with his campaign. Yeah, for ours, it's just going to be in the main book, like your boy Zach did, where he added Jawbreakers 1 and 2 to Lost Souls. Like that's how we want to do it. We're just going to enhance the main book, and that seems to be what the audience wants the most. And on top of that, it makes it easier for us too, because then we only have to produce 1 product. I mean, yeah, it gets bigger and more expensive, but it's still it's a lot less logistics to deal with than if we were producing like 7 different things. That's different printers and getting them all shipped separately, and that would be a nightmare. I don't know how Brian Polito does it, because if you look at his campaigns, that dude has like a stretch goal every $1,000, it seems, and it's just adding more tchotchkes to it.
Man, yeah, he is killing it. He made 181,000 in one day.
Oh yeah, I saw that. But then I think a lot of that is he's been doing this for a while, and he has that mailing list, so he treats his hardcore fans real well, and that's why he does real well, in my opinion.
Brian Polito's the OG Comics Gate. I mean, he's the one who built this whole system, so to speak. So I mean, that was to be expected. He's been doing this longer than anyone else.
Oh yeah, and his Lady Death comic. I mean, so Brian Polito has the same advantage that Doug does, where he has a property that has a lot of hardcore fans from like 20 plus years ago. And all he has to do is make sure they know it's out, and they're going to come in like, oh, I've been waiting for another Lady Death or another Earthworm Jim. So that's good, man. Nothing bad to say about him. He's doing everything right.
Right.
Again, 180,000 in one day. Yeah. Although if I had doubts about anything, I think he actually he owns his own distributor, I think. Yeah, and I know he's done some videos where he's like touring the building and shit like that.
Yeah, Coffee Comics. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so he employs a lot of people. He has a building that he has to either pay a lease or taxes on, and all that equipment and shit. So I'm wondering if he makes like 300,000-400,000 on a campaign. I still bet that he probably only gets like maybe 20,000 of it, because he's got so many people to pay. But then again, he probably saves money by printing it himself. But no, I think I'm getting confused. I don't think he prints it himself. I think he used Artists Express at least a few times. Yeah, those guys they were on Crowdfunding Comics once. And I think Brian Polito uses them for his printing. But yeah, he does real well on his campaigns. But like say for you guys, I don't want to make assumptions, but other than maybe in like one-time payments here and there, it's just the 2 of you on SOS, right?
Yep.
Yes. So if the 2 of you made 300,000, like, yeah, you could both quit your jobs, I'm sure. But with Brian Polito, he has an entire company to support with that. So
yeah, that's what Zach said recently, that it may look like a lot of money when you look at the Indiegogo figures, but you have to take into account he has basically a whole company to run. He has like wages to pay and taxes and printing and distribution. So in the end, if you're a CEO, you're only, as well as the workers, right? You're only seeing like a percentage of the benefits for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and that's the same argument I make with video games, where you got the original Tomb Raider reboot that Square Enix did. It sold like 4 million copies, and they called it a failure. Like, oh, I can't. Oh, it only sold 4 million. Oh, what a flop. And meanwhile, you have indie developers like, man, if we sold 4 million, we'd all be retired right
Yep.
now. And
Yeah,
it's a matter of bloat, because like Square Enix is a giant fucking company that has to pay their shareholders, their investors, their CEOs have to get like a 7-figure bonus at the end of the year. There's other departments in the company that's not related to developing the game, for example. So the developers get paid peanuts. I mean, they get a small fraction of that money. The rest of it gets sucked up by the bloated organization. And that's why they need to sell like multiple millions of copies to even make
yeah,
it worth
it's like what happens with Star Wars. It's not the fact that it makes money; it's the fact that it has to make more money than the last one. Otherwise, it's considered a failure.
Yep, that's right. And meanwhile, there's like shit. If it's with Blade Devil, it's the same thing like you guys with SOS. There's two of us. I mean, we pay other people for help here and there as just on a like per task like contractor basis, but in general, it's just the two of us. So if we made Brian Polito numbers on our book, that's the two of us. I mean, yeah, sure, we may have to spend a bit more money than he would to get it printed and shipped out and all that, but that's more than made up for by the fact that we don't have to keep up an entire company. Yeah, so I mean, if we could get anywhere close to those numbers, yeah, we'll both be fucking partying. We're gonna get the fancy boxed wine from Walmart instead of
Well,
the
just imagine being Ethan Van Sciver. You launch your own comic, you only have yourself to pay, and you make almost $1 million.
Oh yeah,
that's the dream.
No, or Kyle Ritter actually. Yeah, because with Ethan, he does the writing and the line art, but he still has to hire colorists and letterers.
True.
But I think Kyle does everything himself, like literally, like fucking everything. Draws colors. I think he may even letter it himself, although I'm not sure. But yeah, he does like the entire book. He does himself. So yeah, he gets to keep 100% of the profits.
Yeah, after Indiegogo takes their 5%, it's still a pretty big paycheck.
No, actually, it's like 8% if you add in the if you add, because 5% Indiegogo, 3% payment processor, and then taxes. So, I mean, I'm assuming both of you have full-time jobs outside. Well, I know, Chimera does, but yeah, this if you already make like say 50,000 a year, and then you get another 30,000, for example, that you're going to be taxed pretty heavily on that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm lucky enough to, as a Spaniard, have like a part-time shitty job. So I'm getting money from like many different sources, little by little. But it's a good way of getting paid and not having to pay others too much, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, and what I love about this too is, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. That I mean, I have a very nice day job. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. But outside of that, I have two other income sources, and one of them being YouTube. And if I could, I'd actually prefer to have like 5 or 6 different sources of income that are a lot smaller but add up to the same amount, because then I don't have all my eggs in one basket. If like right now, if I lose my day job, there goes the vast majority of my money. I'm fucked. But if I had like 6 or 7 smaller jobs that that are like 1/6 of what I make now each, I could make do with losing 1 or 2 of them, and I'll be fine. So I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't mind being in a position like that. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, if only, man. A man can only dream of losing his job.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, I actually like my job a lot of times. I don't hate the work. I don't hate the company.
Well,
I hate some
I
of the
love.
individual projects I have to do, but it's really just dealing with the irritating people. That's what.
Well, I'm
That's what
lucky.
kills it.
I'm lucky enough to be able to punch people in my part-time job because I work as a kickboxing instructor. So that's I'm not sure if I would want to teach that job even if I became like moderately wealthy drawing comic books. Because man, let me tell you, I will recommend to everyone having a job in which you can punch your customers in the face if they misbehave.
Yeah. No, I agree so much with clerks, right? Man, this job would be so much better if it wasn't for the customers. Yeah, I know. Oh God, that is so fucking yeah. Because you see that's the funny thing because the reason American comics are such shit right now, it's because they treat the customers like shit. But on the flip side, there are a few individual customers that should be punched in the face. Yeah, because I remember when I worked customer service, I learned, I mean, like 95% of people I'm just neutral. We're both like, they're just there to get something. I'm just there to give it to them. And that's the extent of our interaction. But like 4% are actually like very pleasant. And they're like, when they walk in, it's like, they can actually brighten your day. Like you're having a shitty day and they walk in and you have a nice conversation. Like, oh man, I feel a lot better now. But then you got that last 1% that makes you think like, could I live the rest of my life in prison? Because I'm really tempted right now. Yeah. Then and I know the customer is always right doesn't always apply because I mean, like Amazon, for example, even does this. There's a few. It's a known problem with Amazon that people have got their accounts terminated because they return too many items. And it sucks if those were all like legitimately defective items or something. But I know Amazon does the math. I think the more you buy from them, the more items you're allowed to return, basically. But there are some quote unquote customers that actually cost you more money than they make you. And I do not mind when companies cut them off.
Yeah, they're trying to play the system, and sometimes the system fucks you back.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and then they cry about it too. And yeah, and see, and man, and what sucks is if you're not in charge, you have to put up with it. Yeah, because like say the two of you guys, if you could do this for a living, you're your own boss. If you want to drop somebody, you just like, man, fuck this guy. You can drop him. But then if you work for somebody else, though, oh man, so many times I feel like choking somebody, and then my boss comes in, and's like, "Whoa, we got to keep the customer happy." Like, okay, you want to switch? Then you want to deal with them, and then all of a sudden, it's like, "Man, fuck you, bitch! That's your job." Yeah, it sucks, but man, actually, the only thing I'm worried about with just independently making comic books, I think both of you are going to hit this as well with SOS. It's international shipping. Yeah, that's the big one that I'm noticing because I know there's a lot of guys living overseas. Look at that. It's like, wow, you're charging like $20 or more for international shipping. It's like, that's more than the product itself. But then you got to tell them, it's like, dude, you live in Hong Kong. It costs like $80 to ship there. I'm already paying you to buy my book. Like, this is ridiculous. So, I mean, it's fine if you got a big enough campaign that if most of your audience is in the US, you can eat that. You can eat that, and it's fine. But what would happen if, like, say, for whatever reason, most of your customers were overseas? Oh shit! I'm gonna have to just cancel the campaign and do refunds, I guess. I mean, yeah, I raised 30,000, but it's going to cost me 40,000 to fulfill it now.
Yeah, no, as an international backer, I can completely understand that. There's comics that I actually really wanted to read, but the shipping basically double the cost, and $50 for like a hardcover. It's a bit too much even for me, a huge comic book junkie. But I don't know. I'm confident that at some point in the future we will be able to like overcome that obstacle.
Well, I know exactly how we can overcome that obstacle. Actually, is we're going to have to get. I think Comic Skates can do this, and if I can ever get Ethan and your boy Zach, I mean, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Again, I got like no line of communication to him, but if I could get enough comics and enough like really big comic skaters in, we can fix this problem. We're going to have our own printers. Because that's the problem. I mean, all these multinational, like, see, Teespring gets around this issue because, say, if you live in Spain and you order something from my Teespring shop, they print it in the EU and ship it to you.
Yeah, no, I think that's what Amazon does. I mean, they have like subsidiaries in every like country, or at least every continent, so to speak. So it like kind of lessens the shipping costs, and that's why if I order a comic book from Amazon Deutschland, it will be cheaper than if I order it from like the US.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find maybe we could print everything in one place, but we're going to have distributors across the world or distribution hubs because if we at least had one in Europe and one in Australia, for example, that would probably cover a lot of ground. Yeah, but that's the problem though, is if it has to be shipped from the US, it is insanely fucking expensive. So if we want to get around this problem, we're going to have to ship from within all these other continents.
Yeah, I think EVS was saying he was sending 2 packages to Hong Kong. And it was like $65 per package.
Uh-huh. And he charged like what, 25 for the book and 20 for shipping. So
he lost 20.
Yeah, so he's paying the guy $20 basically to get the book. Yeah, and again, and nobody's happy with this. It sucks for everybody. Yeah, because you guys don't want to pay more than the product for shipping, but at the same time, that's still cheap. That's still less money than we have to pay to actually send it out. So both sides are getting fucked. Yeah, that's why I don't fault Doug Tenaple for charging like $65 for shipping to some countries. Yeah, because I think he learned from his Bigfoot Bill campaign. Yeah, because Teespring lets you, or not Teespring, Indiegogo lets you specify by country what the shipping cost is. So I think I think Doug took note of what the most expensive countries were with Bigfoot Bill, and he charged accordingly.
Yeah, I think it was Argentina. That dude had like $65 shipping.
Yeah, and that's also why you guys did this, which is great, and it's having a digital tier.
Yeah, I tried to make the international as affordable, but I added digital in case you're like in fucking South America.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's I know people like Malin, and I think he calls digital as the kiss of death of campaigns, and I'm just like, nah, I don't see it that way because I mean I understand why like EVS and your boy Zach don't do digital because to them the physical product is. I mean it would be like, oh, I make toy cars, like, oh, but I could send you the CAD file. Like no, that's how they see it in my opinion. But for me, I think it's a completely separate market for both. There is a little bit of overlap in my opinion, but like for me, I actually prefer both. So I prefer the physical version, but then when I'm traveling a lot, I'd rather just have it on my phone. I'd rather just have, use Comixology on my phone than carry a fucking library with me at the airport. So
yeah, I've actually begun to do that with prose books, not with comic books yet, because I like the whole thing too much. I like to have like really big illustrations when I read the thing. But for like prose books or textbooks or whatever, yeah, I think I've almost entirely stopped buying physical copies because I just don't have enough space in my room to put more comics and more books here.
Yeah, and then if you're traveling, it's even worse because that's something else to weigh you down that you could possibly lose or damage. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I fucking love... Now, see, if you use Comixology, don't use their web browser version on the PC. Just download some Android emulator and use that, because their Android app is actually good, unlike their web-based one for PC. Because all the complaints that people like your boy Zach have about Comixology, they don't exist on the app. And I noticed that real quick. Like when I was on a fucking flight, I read like 4 volumes of manga, and I'm no issues whatsoever. Everything works perfectly. And then I get back home and I'm reading one on the computer, and it has got like that infinite page loading bug and all that shit.
Well, one of Malin's complaints about digital is that what is it? It'll get pirated, and I'm like, good. I hope it does get pirated so I can get exposure.
Well, and then releasing it only physical doesn't stop them, though, because all you're gonna do is you're gonna make the pirates go through one extra step to upload it. Is they're just gonna have to scan the book first. That's it.
Actually, I think the roast copy, that copy of Ironsides that got like roasted in SJW circles, I think that was an actual physical scan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And see, so you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah.
No, Cyberfrog is already out there. It's no, Ironsights, Jawbreakers was pirated as well. I mean, yeah, having it digital to begin with makes it a little bit easier, but you're not going to stop them. Yeah, they're gonna fucking and yeah, I mean, I agree with you too. As someone who was a very prolific pirate when I was a broke teenager, I wasn't pirating that shit because I didn't want to pay for it. I didn't have the money. If you stopped me from pirating it, I just would have lived without. And there's so many properties I would not have given money to, because a lot of the shit I pirated, once I had the money, I paid for it because I wanted more of it. And because I mean, there's the way I see it, there's 3 groups of people. There's the people that want the physical book. So you have that option. You can get the physical book. There's people who either prefer digital or they're international, and rather than pay like $30 for shipping, they could just get the digital version and pay nothing for shipping. And then there's the pirates that never would have bought your shit anyway. But even among that group, you got people who they would never have even known what your shit is until it popped up on the pirate site, and they may be tempted to come buy it. But the people that want to support you, they're not going to not give you money just because they can pirate it.
Right. And like
there's even the opposite thing, the people who hate you so much that are willing to give you money for the actual physical copy just so they can roast it.
Yeah, and so what they're going to say, I know.
I'm cool with that. I mean, as long as they pay for it, they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, you can burn it. You can set it on fire in front of your kids.
It's yours. You paid for it.
Yeah, it'll actually just make it. It'll make it more valuable for everybody else because now there's less of them around. So, yeah, but that's true. Now you have your little kid crying in the background. That's my book.
Yeah. You set it on fire.
That was weird.
Yeah, set it on fire. It's your book.
Man, I'm fine with that too. But I know how these. See, I bet all of these SJWs talk to each other behind the scenes and coordinate. So I bet I'd be willing to bet money that, like, say when you launched your campaign, they said, okay, which one of you wants to buy this shit so we can roast it later, and then one of them buys a copy, and then if it's only physical, they scan it for everybody else. So. That's what's going to happen. I can guarantee you. And they're going to do that with us too. But no, we're going to make it easy. We're just going to have a digital version. So
yeah, I mean, you gave me money, so all right.
Yeah,
it's a SAG effect, but basically, Max Visaggio owes her entire career to SAG. I mean, he's the guy who made her popular. He's probably the only guy buying his comics anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think they would have given her work anyway, just because of identity politics. But yeah, I think it may not have been his intention, but I know, like, out of the tens of thousands of people that saw his Max Visaggio videos, there had to be at least 1 or 2 that are like, that looks like something I would actually enjoy. Maybe I'll go buy that. I mean, that's what happens when you roast something.
Yeah, that's what I say before. There's never enough people buying your comic books when you're a fledgling artist, or retweeting them or roasting them, because it gives you exposure.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, unless you legitimately make a shit product that nobody would want. I mean, fuck, like when Blade Devil finally comes out, I would love for all of the usual suspects to get a hold of a copy and roast it and share it to all their audience.
I actually actively trolled Ranthemus when Necromancer came out because I knew she would be unable to resist tweeting the art and say this is shit. I was like, yeah, okay, yes, whatever, just retweet it to your 10K followers. I'm extremely cool with that.
Yeah. Oh man, and you see that. I'm looking at it right now. Well, I guess is that the first? Okay, so all these pages you showed, are these chronological, or are you jumping around while you're showing them?
Jumping around a little bit. Those first 3 pages were sequential.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, you know, the art may not be the style that a lot of Americans are used to, but I would not call this bad by any degree.
Thank you.
Especially when you look at what Marvel actually publishes. What the fuck? There's no comparison.
Yeah, they always say like Comicsgate is late, and I'm like, okay, like, so I mean, Marvel and DC are on time. What's your point? I'm like, yeah, it's gonna take a little longer than I estimated, but you're still gonna get your book.
Oh, actually, wait, how much longer? Boom, let me see here. What the fuck? I mean, if you're closing it next month, I mean, okay, so right now the what you have to wait for is the printing and shipping, right? So. Yeah, well, actually, you know, one thing you could do if it becomes an issue is you could send out the digital version to everybody. Like, hey, look, it's done. You can read it now.
Yeah.
Physical book will be there in a month or 2.
Yeah, the thing is that we keep updating it and we keep sharing stuff on Twitter so people know that, you know, we haven't just stopped making it.
Yeah, well, and plus you're not past your deadline yet, though. So that's another reason. And
have like 18 pages, 18 more pages, something like that to finish. So, you know.
18, yeah.
Out of 80? Yeah, that's pretty good. But then you got this other one, though. Yeah, was it Argonaut?
Yeah, that's 100% done.
With Kanan White's cover art, by the way. Cool.
Yeah, and that's 100% done. So you're going to get that in March. So that'll be on time at least.
Oh yeah, so you could get 2 books. Now I still say, you know, maybe at this late stage, just have an ability to get both at once. Or actually, do you guys? Man, I don't think Indiegogo. I mean, I wish Indiegogo had support for modifying your pledge.
Yeah, like a perk, like an add-on.
Yeah, well, I know they do add-ons, but I mean, after you've pledged, you should be able to modify. I mean, I think even Kickstarter lets you, right? I'm not entirely. I remember one of the sites I used let you change after the fact and select a different tier, a different perk. So in this case, like say if because like Cecil is an example of that, where he's adding new stuff to his campaign as it goes on. And I'm just like, man, I wanted to. Okay, so at first I got the main book tier, and then he released another tier that's the book with something else. Like I wanted that, so I should be able to modify my pledge after the fact. Because right now the only other option is I have to buy it twice, and then I pay twice the shipping, and you guys may ship it twice, or you may realize it's going to the same address and cram them both in the same box to save money. But I still paid twice. I mean, it's just a really weird system.
Yeah, it was originally going to be a stretch goal, and I just added it because people were clamoring. But I think I'll do it right now, a combo pack. So instead of the book plus Argonaut, I think I'll just do the book plus the variant cover plus Argonaut. So it'll be a combo.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So we were just talking about Ibai Canales' shitty art, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
So let's find. Okay, this one here. This is a good example. So you guys see this page? You see the backgrounds? Yeah, so pay attention to the backgrounds, because this is what Marvel's actually publishing. I mean, look at this masterpiece. Oh, yeah, look at this good art, and look at the background. Like this top panel here is the only one that has a background that they put any real effort into, and then all the rest.
Backgrounds are a bourgeois vice, comrade.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to admit not every panel needs a background. But still, I mean, if you publish things like this, you can't call this bad art. You just it doesn't work. I'm sorry. I mean,
Plus,
once again, it may not be your style, but that doesn't make it bad.
that's what I was going to say. That they only prove that they're ignorant when it comes to comic books, because I remember they trashed Narwhal's style, and I was like, "Are you actually trashing that? You never heard about like Ted McKeever or like Kent Williams or all these like edgy, grungy guys from like late '80s, early '90s that were like drawing comic books for Epic Comics and Dark Horse and all that. You just don't know shit about comic books."
Oh yeah, and see that is my personal opinion is I think Narwhal. If I mean I agree with your boy Zach. He has like a perfect grasp on color, but I think I really wonder what would happen if he did the penciling and the storyboarding and the penciling, and then someone else finished it for him. Oh man, like that could actually break into the mainstream. But right now, yeah, his style is just one that I don't think it's ever going to get was a wider audience appeal. But I don't think he gives a shit. So I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah,
no,
I think Marvel has been lucky enough to find a niche for his style, because I don't think the mainstream would have given him like a chance to publish it, because it's not, I don't think it's the kind of style that an editor, a mainstream editor will look at and say, yeah, this is valid.
Uh-huh. Oh, I know. And see, and we're kind of running into that too. Our style is more manga style. Although we don't have to justify our choice of style because the entire world is already choosing. But I know that's the one criticism I always ignore. And that is, I mean, because you got to be able to tell the difference between legitimate criticism and concern trolling and shit like that, right?
yeah.
But one criticism I will always ignore, regardless of where it comes from, is just, oh, I don't like the style. It's like, well, it's not for you then. That's the one thing that's not going to change. You're never going to have a style that everybody likes. And I'm sorry, we're not going to change the style that 99% of the people we're going for like because you don't like it. If that's your only criticism, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that's like saying, I don't like your face. Well, tough shit. What am I gonna do? My
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. Well, actually, that'd be one thing. It's like, well, if you want to pay for my plastic surgery to make me look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe I'll take you up on that. Yeah, but that is the one criticism I just always ignore, where it's just, oh, I don't like the style. Well, I guess we're just going to have to disagree there then.
Plus, I'm going to say that developing your own recognizable style, that's probably the hardest part of being an artist, at least for me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I agree 100%. And I've been trying to get my sister to do that because my sister is actually a really good artist and she's very good at, copying other people's styles. But I keep telling her, like, if you don't get your shit together and come up with your own style, you're just always going to be someone's helper bitch. Like you're never going to be able to do your own shit. Because I mean,
you'll be replaceable. That's the whole thing.
Oh, well, not there's always going to be someone willing to pay. I mean, everyone needs an assistant at some point. I mean, that's with Blade Devil. We're actually outsourcing some of the color work because we found some colorists that are able to match my artist style close enough that then they could do most of the work and then he just does the finishing touches. And there's always demand for something like that. But if you want to make a name for yourself doing your own stuff, it's never going to fucking happen unless you develop your own style.
This actually worked in my favor when Zach was planning part 2 of Ironsides. And, after the negative reviews coming from SJWs, that's another question entirely. After the negative reviews, he told me that he was planning to find a new artist for part 2. And I was like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll have to find another gig. And after a few days, he reached back to me and he told me, man, I've been thinking, and it's as if I was going to make part 2 of The Godfather and I would like recast the whole cast. I mean, you draw the first part, you know the faces, you know the expressions and all that. It will be like ridiculous for me to try and find a new artist. because your style it's too personal. It just wouldn't fly. So I think in that sense, me not being maybe the best artist around, but one of the most recognizable, yeah, that worked in my favor.
Well, and plus, the more work you get, I mean, it's pretty obvious right here that you've gotten better as well.
Mm.
So now, so Iron Sights 2 is still going to be your style, but better, and then Iron Sights 3 still your style, but better.
Yep, that's the idea. But that's what happens when you spend your entire day drawing.
Oh yeah, and that's another good thing too. Is like if you could get enough gigs to do this for a living, then you're going to get better faster, and you're going to be able to draw faster too. So
that's what I say. I wanna see myself at age 50. I'm gonna be like freaking Frank Frazetta, man.
Oh God, yeah. No, who the fuck is the new Frank Frazetta? I don't think we have one.
Well, that's the whole thing about the new generations. That the bad thing is not that the old ones are dying. The bad thing is that the new one, there's no one among the new ones to replace them.
Well, I mean, when this is what they're promoting,
Yeah.
is there any surprise? Yeah. Well, meanwhile, yeah, you got like this gets past Marvel. This is good enough for Marvel. And meanwhile, you got like just master artists now that are struggling to get. Oh my, it does piss me off. Yeah.
And the artist for Argonaut, he's going to do a spin-off book called SOS Onslaught, and it mostly takes place in the 90s, focusing on kind of a minor character. And so Canales read the scripts, he really liked it, and he says, "Man, I want to draw this." And I'm like,
yeah, because he keeps giving me the comedy bits, and I want the violent bits. I want the guts and the demons and all that.
Oh, like this one getting his head blown off. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and see that's another weird situation I'm in with Blade Devil. Which I mean, if I could, I'd love to just give my artist infinitely more work. I mean, I keep trying to get him to do more stuff, but then he comes back. It's like, man, go fuck yourself. I don't have the time for that. Yeah, because I mean, you saw what his art looks like. That shit takes forever. Yeah. So all the side stories are going to have to be done by different artists. Like all the stuff we add is going to have to be different artists. Just because, even if he really would like to do it, he's like, okay, do you want me to do that, or do you want the book to come out on time? Which one do you prefer? Like, fine. I guess I'll find somebody else. Yeah. And we've gotten to the point where no matter how much I beat him in his cage, he can't work any faster. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, Canales will have a vacation about 4 to 5 weeks. So speaking of cages.
Oh, so you coming over to the U.S.?
I'm actually hitting Montreal to visit an old friend. And I think I'll be lucky enough to hang out with Simpotier when I hit Montreal.
Hey?
Speaking of America, are you going to the CG convention, either of you?
I don't know. I mean, do we have a date already?
Yeah, May 2021.
Holy shit! Well, I guess so. I can't not go, right?
Wait. So it's actually May 20th. They nailed it down.
May 2021. Next year.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's still just the month. Yeah. See, I will go. I'll try anyway, provided work allows. But that's one. No. That may be one of those things where, see, if you guys really want to help out, if you really want to help, then yeah, if we do good enough with Blade Devil that I could quit my day job, I'm going to be there 100%. So it's one of the. But I may have to. I may have to travel, I may have work requirements, but if not for that, I mean, once we nail down the date, like the moment I know the dates of this convention, I'm going to apply for my vacation, even if it's like a year in advance. Then it'll be way harder for them to try to take it away from me if I actually applied for that vacation a year in advance. So it's going to be way harder, but that's still no guarantee. But I'm definitely going to do everything I can to be there. Yeah, that's going to be some fun times. I do not want to miss out on that. Especially if someone tries to show up and start drama, that'd be hilarious.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they only do that when they outnumber you like 20-1. Then they suddenly feel brave, but they're not going to show up to where there's hundreds of people who oppose them. Unless they have thousands of people with them, which isn't going to happen.
Here's the thing: I've learned something about this kind of people, and my dad also has a gym, and he's a pretty successful gym, which has, of course, earned him like the envy and the ire of a lot of other kickboxing trainers, and they talk a lot of shit behind his back. But when he meets them at the usual tournament and boxing match or whatever, they're all like extremely accommodating and apologizing, and it's hysterical to behold. I mean, these guys who like talk real shit about you when they think you can hurt them. When you run into them, they're like they can't kiss your ass enough.
Oh fuck yeah! And there's people like that in. Oh yeah, at the corporate structure. I'm sure you guys have both seen this too, where you got like some middle manager that everybody at their level or below absolutely hates their fucking guts, but everyone above them really loves them. But that's just because they always like suck the dicks of the people above them, but the people below them they treat like shit.
Yeah.
Oh, got some more super chats here. So somebody's old, man. Sorry for taking so long. So Alex Halo, thank you. The 5. Lost Pause did an interview with Project Melody like you hoped. We just have to wait for him to post it. Oh yeah, just keep triggering those hoes. That's good. And Fatman 56, thank you for the 5. ORG, I just made a movie for you, 100% safe. It's got doll and blankets. Go ahead and watch it. 2 minutes. Well, if you guys want, I may pull that up towards the end of the stream, yeah. And Tyler Preston, thank you the 2. Jack Kirby's Etrigan the Demon was the OG Devil Man. Oh yeah. No, I guess it depends on the series, but Devilman, you can't go wrong with that. And Family 6, thank you for another 2. Has the Teespring store been helping RGE? Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, it's been helping a lot actually. Yeah, it's another. I mean, it's not a huge source of income, but it can pay for a few pages of the book to be cranked out. So there is that, man. And yeah, and I believe, I believe I'm caught up there. Sweet. Oh, okay. Wait. I think he made something. He made it in Dragon Quest Builders. Oh man. Oh yeah. I'll pull that up towards the end. So, wait, let me see here. Let's see if we got anybody else jumping on. Right, and this. Oh yeah, now 6:36. One more.
Someone grabbed digital.
Nice.
Yeah, it's only $8 for the digital. So hey, why not?
And the good thing about my job is I get good PTO. So with my next campaign, I'm just going to be streaming for like a straight week.
Oh, dude, no, that's going to be us. That's when we launch next Sunday. I'm not going to be streaming like a week, but I've already arranged to have most of the next week off. So I'm going to do a massive like half day long stream on Sunday and just keep carrying it on the rest of the week. So yeah, that's a good idea, man. It'll keep and I would say also maybe if you can interrupt that by going on some other people's streams too, that'll probably really help out as well.
Yeah.
But man, that's going to be a fun time, man. That's that's where my work really begins, is when the campaign starts running. It's like, well, now it's my job to advertise and market the fuck out of everything.
I did want Canales to be involved in the project because it's, kind of our baby we've made. So I'm going to have him do a pinup for the next project.
Yes.
Of the main villainess.
Oh, I was just about to ask, like a pinup of the 3 brothers? I mean...
No.
Yeah.
One of the vampire countess, who's the villain for the next project.
Awesome. Well, you could do both, I guess. I'm sure there's going to be I'm sure you got some gay dudes or women who may be interested in the other one.
Well, to go J.J. Abrams, we don't want this to be not inclusive.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I love. That's why manga is just ripping the Western industry's ass right now. As it's not just the higher quality stuff; it's quantity and actual diversity as well. No matter what you're into, there's a manga for you. And you can't get that here in the West anymore because a certain group has infected everything and is trying to turn everything into the one specific thing they like.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always liked about manga, that there's like shoujo and shonen and like battle manga and like sports manga, and there's like a genre for each people, for each person. I mean, you can clearly tell which mangas are meant for like salaryman, which blue collar workers, and which mangas are meant like for schoolgirls, schoolboys, and all that. And here in the United States and in the West, it's like it's all supposed to be for communists.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the communists don't even buy their own shit. Yeah, that's the argument I make all the fucking time, where you never bend the knee to these fucking terrorists because they never intend. They're not potential customers. They will never buy your shit. As soon as they destroy your stuff, they will just say, okay, my job here is done, and they'll move on to the next thing to destroy. They're not going to stick around and buy it.
Speaking of destroying stuff, what's going on with My Hero Academia? Is that guy bowing down?
No, well, not completely. I don't think it's his fault. I think it could be his editors, but no. So the first thing that happened is you got a bunch of Asian SJWs. Yes, they exist. They seem to be taking lessons from the West and reading louder by the day. But they bitched about one of the names of his characters, and then yeah. So actually, funny enough, this is related to what you did here. So there was like some term that they used for prisoners of war that were experimented on during World War II, that Japan experimented on Chinese and Korean people. And this is the main villain's doctor. So an evil doctor had that name, and they got butthurt by it. So it would be kind of like a villain called an evil doctor called Mangala in Western comics. I don't know who to do something like that, but that's pretty similar to what I'm. Yeah, that's basically what he did. And they they read up a storm, and he kind of and they forced him to apologize, and we're going to change the name. And after announcing that, China decided to ban it anyway. Yeah, all the good that did you. And then after that, the SJWs, they smelled blood, because then like right after that, they started bitching that like, oh, some of the characters in their bios, they share birthdays with historical like villains. And anyone with a brain was like, no fucking shit. There's 365 days in a year, and how many trillions of people have existed? There's no person alive that doesn't share a birthday with some historical villain.
And I used to think that counting a book's pages to see if they were like a total of 88 was peak comic book insanity. But lo and behold, a new law has been reached.
Yeah, well, as I say, I don't think we're ever going to reach peak clown world.
Yeah, no, there's no basement in hell.
Yeah, that's right. It just keeps getting low. Yeah, so it's actually instead of hell, it's the abyss. So tying back into SOS here. So yeah, in D&D, hell only has 9 layers, but the abyss is infinite. You can always keep going lower.
Ugh.
Yeah, and that's Clown World. We're the abyss. Yeah, we just you think we've hit rock bottom, or like in Minecraft, you hit bedrock. So, we can't go any lower from here, and then someone finds a way to glitch through the bedrock, and there's
hold
still
my
we
beer.
Keep going. Yeah, hold my soy milk, bitch. We could keep going lower.
I did have a scene. It's at the end of issue 1 where the Demon King, one of the demons, sends a message back, and he isn't paying attention because he's playing mobile games. So I try to bring a little comedy even into hell.
What the demons? So the demon is addicted to some loot box game.
Yeah, he's playing Jawbreaker Crush Saga, like Candy Crush Saga.
Ah, nice.
I gotta say that Chimera's comedy thing is what actually dragged me into the story, because I like to work with people who has like a similar sense of humor to me, and that's why I really enjoyed working on the Abductables and that's why I'm really enjoying working on this, because I keep saying that my favorite line in the whole project. I don't know if it's in the preview page, but it's actually Carnage to the Nazi that he's holding up. The war is not over until I have cocaine.
Yeah. Oh no, this one is in here. I remember seeing
It is.
that.
No, it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's at
Oh,
the-
that's where I saw it. Yep. We can actually.
It's at like near the end.
Yeah. Oh,
That one, yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, that's the one.
Now it won't let me. Well, you can see there's no text that's being covered up, but it won't. Yeah, I really hate Indiegogo's like built-in like little YouTube player. It is such shit. I have so many issues with it. But man, yeah, sometimes when it goes full screen, it doesn't let me go back out of full screen again as well, which is really annoying. But yeah. So did he end up getting his cocaine? I mean, I'm assuming yes, because the war did end, but
Probably.
You can keep Carnage away from his cocaine.
Yeah.
There's
And
no
I-
human way of doing it.
And you can name like your character. I had to ask like a lawyer just in case. Like, yeah, you can name your character whatever you want as long as it's not similar to that other character. Like there's a Joker in Persona 5. One of the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joker.
yeah, the main character. Yep.
Yeah, you can name whatever you want.
No, I think it can only be an issue if it's like was it 80% similar or something like that.
Well, I was thinking trademark because
Yeah.
the character is not similar at all to a symbiote. So I don't have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll be fine. And plus, Carnage is it's a common word and a common nickname, I guess too.
I did find, let's see, there's a Carnage in DC back in like the 50s. There's a Carnage in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles called Complete Carnage. And then there's a Carnage in One Punch Man called Carnage Kabuto.
Yeah.
So there's plenty.
Well, and even if it was trademarked, though, I think that you got a prior use exemption as well for some of those older examples. Now, I think the most famous example of that is Burger King, if I remember right, where there's actually a mom and pop shop called Burger King, and they had that name before the giant international chain even came into being. So they and there was this lawsuit. I mean, they won, by the way, to prevent the big mega chain Burger King from opening up any stores within 20 miles of that mom and pop shop to avoid brand confusion. Yeah, and even though the big mega corporation owns all the trademarks, they can't stop that mom and pop shop from using the name because they were using it before the trademark was filed. So there's a lot of really funny exemptions when it comes to copyrights and trademarks. And in this case, it actually makes sense. This is one of the few times I actually think the copyright and trademark law did something right. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, the system usually does not work 90% of the time.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's right. But in this case, it did. Yeah, and that was why the whole Subverse debacle was so funny too. How Tim Pool legitimately thought he can sue Studio Foe into not using that name, whereas Studio Foe actually already had the trademark. Like because Tim was using the name longer, but he never trademarked it. So there's literally nothing he can do. So the only thing that him using the name longer gets him is he doesn't have to change his name. So if Studio Foe decided that they didn't like him using the name Subverse, there's nothing they can do about it. But on the flip side, there's nothing he can do to stop them either. No matter how much he bitches about them ruining his SEO, like, well, he should have trademarked it. Too late now. Yeah, and not to mention that, the Studio Foe is using it for a hentai game. He's using it for a news network. So, yeah, again, though he's the only thing that brought that up was he was just butthurt that when you type Subverse into Google, you get the whole first page of porn now.
Well, that's what the internet is for. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first image that comes up when you believe I can Alex is actually porn.
Yeah, and no, it would be even funnier if it was one of the ones you starred in early on in your career, huh?
Well, I'm pretty sure that if you get popular enough, there will be inevitable a Rule 34 about you. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just just thinking back to this one joke. I wish I could remember who the comedian was so I could give proper credit, but it's not mine. I'm just going to say now. But now he was saying how he wanted to get his girlfriend into porn, and he thought it's like, yeah, let's. And then he finally got her to agree to watch a porno with him together. He thought, no, this is a fun thing they can do together to spice up their sex life, right? And then a minute into the porno, she just slaps him and leaves the room. And it's like, well, maybe it wasn't the best idea starting her out on one that I was in, but yeah, yeah, maybe, but oh yeah, oh god, no, that was a not funny lawsuit here in the U.S. about that, where there was a website called Girls Do Porn, where a lot of these girls who did amateur porn
weren't actually girls.
Yeah, no, they were. See, they did porn voluntarily. No one forced them into this. This wasn't like a sex trafficking thing. And then after the fact, they decided, oh, now I'm not going to be a hoe anymore. I'm just going to try to live a regular life. And they were mad that like the guys they were dating were able to like Google them and find all the porn they did. So I think they were able to sue the site into taking their shit down, which was really weird. But yeah, that's that's a problem all porn stars face, which is why I think you need to be told that going in. That, yeah, if you do this, you're going to make a lot of money in the short term. But in the long term, your job, if you ever get identified, like your real name gets out there and not just your porn name, you're fucked. Well, you're not fucked, rather, I guess. I mean, which one's worse for a porn star? I don't know.
I guess it depends on the age.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that's so you got all these porn stars like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck all these dudes and record it for a few years, and then afterwards, like, okay, I'm ready to be a housewife now.
Yeah, so it's basically I'm going to be a modern Western woman, except there's going to be camcorders involved.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not saying anything that's different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, man. And that's why I don't really take that too seriously myself. Because the only difference between these porn stars and most of the women I know is that the porn stars were recorded. Like, you're right. Like, most of these other women, it's not like they didn't try like gangbangs and at parties and shit like that. It's just no one recorded it. So there's no proof that it happened. And that's about the only difference. But yeah, the internet's forever. Yeah. Now this is actually, I think, the whole cancel culture thing. In the end, it may be positive because this is a phase society needs to go through. Because
I'm convinced that eventually this is all going to be normalized, and that like trying to destroy people online because they said something mean like 10 years ago, it's going to be like laughed off. Like, they're going to be like the internet equivalent of crazy apocalyptic guys like yelling in Times Square that the end is near.
Oh yeah, no, and I agree with you 100%. Actually, the only reason it's such a big deal now is because it's new, and these fucking boomers running these companies don't understand that the times have changed. So they're still running these companies as if it was the 1940s. But it's not. So, I mean, once people in our generation start taking over, we know damn well that we grew up with us, and everyone younger than us grew up with the internet. So everybody has something they've said or done on the internet forever. Now, there's not a single person alive that you can't dig up some dirt on anymore. So pulling up someone's like old tweets, like, oh, like 30 years ago, this guy said this offensive thing. I mean, yeah, once we're in charge, it's going to be just laughed out. But for now, it's still a new concept. People didn't used to be able to do this. So they're taking full advantage of it to ruin as many lives as possible until everyone just gets desensitized to it. But in the end, I think cancel culture is going to be gone. Now, the only thing that's going to happen is the people who try to cancel other people are going to be the only ones that no one wants to employ. So fucking karma right there.
Well, they got Oh, I was just gonna say they got that one guy. He was doing some kind of GoFundMe, and they pulled up tweets from when he was like 16.
Oh yeah, the guy that had that donated like $1 million to charity. Yeah. All he did was give money to charities, and the media was like, "Oh, we got to destroy him."
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then the journalist that dug up his tweets from when he was in high school, he had some of his own spicy tweets dug up. Like, see, if you want to play this fucking game, we'll play. If this is what you want to escalate it to, I will fight at whatever level you want to set it at. So if you dig through my past history and dig up something I said 20 years ago, I'm going to do the same shit to you, and I better not hear you bitching when you get fired. Yeah, so I think that's that's just karma right there. I don't feel sorry for those fuckers at all.
On that note, guys, I think I'm gonna drop because it's almost 7 a.m. here, and I'm barely conscious anymore.
All right. All right, man. Yeah, it's been fun talking. Yeah, I mean, do you have a Twitter account or something you can direct people to? Just
yeah, you can follow me at Decimators Art on Twitter, and you can also follow me on Instagram. I'm rarely there because I'm too lazy, or maybe I'm too busy just making comics and all that. Yeah, I promise I'll be back in Instagram soon. And yeah, we can also be friends on Facebook if you're into the whole like Facebook thing.
Okay, cool. Oh right, yeah, I see you. Yeah, you quote tweeted the. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I haven't gone through all my notifications, but yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go collapse now. Sorry, what?
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna post that in the chat so everyone can follow you. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, man. It's been a fun time.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, yeah, I'm honored. We got all these. I mean, dude, no, we got the artist of Iron Sights right here with us, man. Good times.
I'm
six-figure book right there.
I'm kind of a big shot now, aren't I?
Yeah. You now you're gonna have to start looking down on everybody like the SJW comic pros do. Then you'll fit right in.
Yep. Well, I will begin to do so once I find my Rule 34 porn parody on the internet. That's when I'll know that I made it.
Dude, you say that in front of my audience. You know what you're gonna be spammed with tomorrow? Well,
I look forward to it. That's how I like to wake up on a Sunday.
Yeah, because your photo is on your Twitter. It's possible. Yeah.
You think that's a coincidence? Think again.
Yeah. All right, man.
Okay, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Oh, I'll never leave.
All right. Oh yeah, man. See you later, man. Does you have something to look forward to when you wake up now?
All right. So,
yeah.
He's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's always good to have like a good relationship with your artist. It's not just business.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Otherwise, you end up like what was with Nasser and Donald, where you just. To
be fair, they didn't really know each other, and he was handing over 50% of his IP to like a stranger. So
yeah, well, and although it's in hindsight, it was a horrible idea. But I personally think, from one writer to another, that may be the only way we can keep artists in the future is if they actually have that investment in it. Because otherwise, yeah, I mean, like if you working with a buy right now, what would happen if after the first book of SOS, he's suddenly getting way more offers, paying way more money than you're willing to? I mean, you're gonna have to find someone else.
No, we kind of worked that out because he already is getting offers from other people. So we're just going to have like pages done before the campaign launches. So we'll just kind of get like the book half done and then I'll launch and we'll get the other half done.
Man, and that's a smart idea in general. Like that's what we're doing with Blade Devil. We're most of like half the book is done already. We hope we can finish the whole thing by the end of the year, provided we don't get any more coronavirus related delays. Should be fine.
Yeah, 2 books, Graveyard Shift and Brutus are delayed because of the.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I got that update from Donald. Well, and John. Yeah, I mean, I backed both of them. But I mean, I'm no this fucks Cecil up as well, because I am quite sure that it's not an accident that Donald was going to be delivering Brutus during the cash grab campaign, but not anymore. Got fucking coronavirus shut the whole country down. But yeah, I mean, again, I have this is just my speculation. I haven't verified this with either of them, but I'm quite sure that Donald shipping during the cash grab campaign was planned. But now it's not going to happen.
Well, he is looking at like an alternate printer, so I mean, he has the book done, which is the good part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that. Apparently, it's coming to America too, on the west and east coast. California is fucked, because we have all those homeless people with compromised immune systems, and then they're getting coronavirus.
Yeah, and then there's shit all over the streets on top of that, and then you throw AIDS into the mix. Talk about compromised immune systems. Yeah, California just recently made it. They downgraded intentionally giving someone AIDS to a misdemeanor from a felony.
Oh, I thought they got rid of it entirely, so it's not even like nothing happens.
No, well, that's how some of the right-wing media tried to spin it, but no, it's not like they made it legal now or stopped punishing it. They just treat it like a minor issue.
Yeah, I read some article that the 10 plagues are happening right now. We got locusts in Africa, and we got the other 9 plagues now.
Oh, God.
I'm like, yeah, we kind of had it coming because all this shit that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, so do you know, like, with Donald, like, so is he I mean, I'm guessing since he just finished the book recently, he wouldn't have had time to, sign the deal with Print Ninja, right? So he could go to a different printer, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he said it. I got a little update, and he said he's looking at alternate printers. It was kind of slightly delayed because the colorist, he kind of dropped the whole book, and I've seen Donald's coloring. It's good, so I don't know why he just didn't color it himself.
Well, it's time. I mean, it's the same issue I have with my artist on Blade Devil. He could do everything himself if you want the book to come out in 2022.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why Donald wasn't doing it. So,
How many pages? How many pages is Blade Devil?
Well, it keeps growing as we go, but now it's over 40 for the main story, and then we're going to have the 2 side stories and whatever else we want to add to it. And I think there's going to be a pretty high tier stretch goal to. I mean, if we get enough money so that he can quit his day job and just do art full time, if we get that high, then we're gonna add way more pages because then we can actually make it way bigger and better for this release.
Yeah, I kind of like Ashiera. Is that her name?
Yeah, Ashiara.
Yeah, she's like Lena Inverse if Lena Inverse had tits and that Resident Evil 5 little thing on her chest.
Oh man, yeah. Now that's actually a funny one. There is I've seen all of Slayers, but I didn't even associate her with Lena until later. I mean, mostly just because I guess they have the same hairstyle, but different color and way different facial design.
Well, yeah, I was thinking of the bandana because
I
love Slayers. That was like another influence because they had the demons, and they called them the Mazaku.
Yeah. Oh, I like Slayers is one of those. I really loved it at the time, like in the 90s. Yeah. But going back and watching it now, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's not really doing it for me in current year.
Yeah, it's nostalgia, definitely.
Yeah, well, and I really think it was good at the time it came out, but now I don't know whether my tastes have changed or I've seen a lot more anime to compare it to. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's bad. It's just the combination of the art style with the super hyper sense of humor. Just like, I don't watch that stuff anymore. But I'm not going to rip on anyone else who still likes it, though.
Yeah, they came out with a new series, Revolution and Evolution R. I thought those were okay.
Yeah, that's been like a decade already ago at this point, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I watched that too, but but man, that one was it. They brought Rezo back again, didn't they?
Yeah, for like the
Yeah,
third time, he's a
yeah,
ghost or something.
yeah. They just won't let him. I mean, it's a joke, right? It's almost like Goku dying in Dragon Ball Z. Like, oh, he'll be back. Don't worry about it.
Well, I don't know why they don't just adapt the light novels, because they only because the first two Slayers anime covered the first 7 light novels. They have other demons that they could focus on.
It's true. Yeah, they could. But no, Omega Zero saying you should watch Those Who Hunt Elves. I have it actually. I have seen. Have you seen that one?
No, what is that?
Oh, that one's it's like one of the first isekai I've ever seen, where you got no, I think you got like 3 different people from from the quote unquote real world get get teleported to some fantasy world and a spell gone wrong. And when the one elf was casting the spell to send them back, they fucked it up. And then the different pieces of the spell just spread throughout the land on the bodies of hot female elves. So they go around like fucking stripping them.
Oh, God.
Like, no, do you got the spell? Yeah, I think if I remember, I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched it, but the first time when the spell fucked up, it you could see it split up into like 5 different elves, and then the last, I think it was the end of the second season, they fucked up again when they were finally about to go home, and it was like a firework. There was like thousands of them, and they were just looking like, God damn it.
I love how Isekai is so self-aware at this point. Like they just treat it like it's like Konosuba. Like you automatically know what's going to happen, and it's just basically a comedy at this point.
No, dude, Konosuba is one of my favorite shows in recent years. It is fucking hilarious. Now, I especially love the little like D&D bits too, like that one where where Kazuma and Aqua were in the dungeon, and they countered that mimic. Oh,
Yeah,
that was yeah, and then the best part though was how Kazuma just doesn't hold back. Like he was telling Aqua, like bitch, I will leave you behind in this fucking dungeon, and then he actually did.
And Cautious Hero, that's pretty much. I love how the hero just grinds. Like he's not even like shocked when he's sent to the world. He's just like, okay, I gotta do push-ups, sit-ups.
Yeah, well, and I'm not going to give away the spoilers, but yeah, then he had this whole tragic backstory of why he is that way, though. That explains all of that. It's like why he's not shocked, why he grinds.
Yeah, like they just pop in the protagonist, and like you don't need to set up anything for the story. Like everyone's just so used to isekais.
Like, dude, if I got hit by a truck tomorrow and I woke up in some fantasy world, I'd kind of be the same way. It's like, man, I hope this is one of those comedy ones, not like ReZero, where I'm just going to be getting killed over and over again.
Yeah, I dropped ReZero. I was watching it, and I just dropped watching it.
Well, now see, the thing is, I did too. The first season, I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I was like, not doing anything for me, and I dropped it. And then during my anime recommendation stream, everyone was chewing me out for not including it. And so like 8 weeks into the season, I was like, fine, everyone's saying it's the best shit ever. So I watched it again, and it got really fucking good after the first like 4 episodes. So it was just like Technolize. If I hadn't bought the entire series in a box set, I never would have finished it because that first disc was not good. But now it's like one of my favorite anime of all time because it gets really good after the first disc. But I never would have made it past that. Like if I only bought the first disc, I would have just been pissed I wasted my money. But since I bought the whole box set, I was like, fine, I'll try one more. And then I was like, wow, this is actually getting good now. I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah, if I had to like introduce a normie to anime, specifically isekai, I would say just watch Drifters. Like, that's all.
Oh, fuck, yeah. No, so Drifters is coming back. It was this year, right?
Yeah, 2020. They're finally going to do season 2, which makes sense because, what's his name? The mangaka, it takes forever.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, yeah. I mean, so if you guys liked Hellsing, definitely check out Drifters.
Dude, Hellsing was my introduction to anime. Like, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh, but Hellsing introduced me to anime.
Man, I can't even remember what mine was because I just know, my dad was stationed in Germany, and I actually ended up. I mean, I think some of the first anime I ever watched was like those weird '80s ones, like Cat's Eye. Yeah, that was, and then but that was still way better than anything the West was shitting out at the time. At least that I had access to living in Germany in English or Polish. Yeah, yeah. But then I watched all sorts of. I mean, I saw all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT before the US was even halfway through Z. That was pretty cool. Multiple times.
Yes, the dub of Dragon Ball Z is what I watched, and I would always power up as Goku was. That shit was so good.
Yeah, that is the perfect show to watch when you're constipated and you're on the toilet, because then you can recreate the whole powering up, scream, stance, all that.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is I watched anime, and then I kind of went to college and fell out of it. And it was my brother who got me back into it. He's like, "Oh, you got to watch Akira. Oh, you got to watch Ninja Scroll." And I'm like, "Bitch, you used to make fun of me for liking anime. Now you like it." And then I kind of learned, oh, everybody likes anime. What's going on?
Yeah, and then that's the problem, because now the people that made fun of you for it claim to be lifelong fans and are trying to ruin it.
Yeah, I remember him making fun of me while I was watching Ghost in the Shell and Full Metal Alchemist. Like, that was like 10 years ago. And like now he's a full-on weeb.
Oh, and then Galaxy Express 39. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of anime older than me that I'm like really like Legends of the Galactic Heroes and Fist of the North Star and Galaxy Express 39, Harlock. So much good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of like, it's not as famous as Cowboy Bebop or something, but Black Lagoon is something I can watch over and over. I probably watched the whole series 6 times.
Yeah, I only watched it once, and that's why my memory on it is a bit foggy, because I got that Steelbook box set.
Yeah.
And I watched it then, and then I haven't watched it since. But I did watch Jormungand a lot more recently, so pretty similar. If you haven't seen that one, you probably should if you liked Black Lagoon.
Yeah, no, I got a whole list to watch. Funny enough, Mr. Medicare of all people is the one recommending Icica a few months ago. I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he did a bunch of anime streams as a joke after being demonetized and kicked off of everything. So I'm just going to do anime reviews now.
I mean, he had good recommendations.
Yeah, that's true.
The only, like, JoJo is something I got into only because of memes. I would see the memes everywhere, and I finally checked it out, and it took me a while to get into it, but yeah.
No, JoJo's fucking hilarious. I mean, I just love how, just the type of dark, evil shit that goes on in that world, and then it's just completely balanced out by just, how flamboyant and over the top all the characters are.
Yeah. And, like, I always hate it. Dogs always get killed in every single part. I've counted. Every single part, a dog is hurt.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the second time it was probably an accident, and then people started pointing it out, and they're like, yeah, let's just roll with it. This is the meme now. And that's what I do too. So yeah, if you create an accidental meme, fuck yeah, let's do it. Oh, Gundam Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah, no, I think as far as Gundam goes, I actually think my favorite was Gundam Origin, which really was just the first Gundam series condensed into like 5 movies. But I that one's probably my favorite, and then Gundam Unicorn after that, and then Iron Blood Orphans. That was some good shit. Yeah, and even the second season of Iron Blood Orphans, a lot of people were bitching about it and how it ended, but I don't think they could have done it any better. That was great. Let's just say the good guys don't always win.
Someone said Lost Universe. Is that made by the same guy who made Slayers?
Yes. It's like it pretty much is Slayers, but sci-fi. And I know, I think it's even based in the same continuity.
Yeah. They have like different worlds. Like Dark Star is the Massacre or Mal or whatever of that world.
Yeah, Dark Star appeared in both of them. Yeah. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
I didn't like that season of Slayers. Slayers Try, I think it was.
Okay. Oh yeah, and Damashep, yeah, thank you for the 2. Yeah, saying that Origin is a prequel to the original. Yeah, I was thinking that the first 4 movies are a prequel, yeah, but then it actually starts getting into the then it starts because I think the 5th movie that was covering starting with Amuro Ray and the colony drop and all that fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun, man. But yeah, I really loved Origin. But maybe it's just because Chara's Noble is a way better character than Amuro Ray, at least to me. I liked seeing his origin and how he turned into what he was.
Yeah, I have like a whole watch list I gotta go over. I still haven't seen to this day Fist of the North Star, and I think it's on Netflix. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Oh man, it was worth it, man. I really enjoyed it. It was at least the first season, and then they had another one. It was okay, but they pulled. Eventually, they started pulling way too much shit out of their asses. But if you get up to the point where they defeat Rao, that was pretty good. That was all. Although I'll tell you now, the anime, I don't know why the fuck they did this, but the first like 15, 20-ish episodes are filler.
Yeah, I hate that when they do that because it's either they have to catch up with the manga or something.
Oh, but no, the anime started with filler. That's what's so fucking annoying. And then it gets to the first like real challenge for Kenshiro. He fights his first South Star practitioner. And then it's like all awesome from then on. But for whatever reason, like the first bunch of episodes were filler. I'm like, why the fuck would you do this? This makes
the only filler that bothered me, probably not Naruto, but Bleach. That's the only filler that actually pissed me off.
Oh no! Bleach had the habit of it's in the middle of a climactic battle. Let's take a look at what they're doing back on Earth for a few episodes. Like, man, fuck this shit! I want to see how the fight ends. Leave off on the cliffhanger in the fight, and then hey, let's look at what they're doing.
Yeah, and that author kind of went crazy himself. He stopped doing his own backgrounds, and he just went kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, after getting rid of Aizen, I think that's where people should just end it when it comes to Bleach, because then it got pretty fucked up. Oh yeah, that's right. How is Cone doing back on Earth? Yeah, and I really loved Bleach for the longest time, but then 2/3 of the way through the Waco Mundo arc was when I really started noticing the stuff that was really pissing me the fuck off. And then I just kind of dropped it. But yeah, Naruto, I guess, is more famous because its filler was the longest. We had like 80 straight episodes of filler.
Yeah, I think I watched like the first 130 episodes, and you can actually skip to like episode 211.
Yeah, basically, after you get to the conclusion of Naruto and Sasuke's fight, you could just go right to Shippuden.
Yeah, there's like 500 episodes. I couldn't.
Yeah. So that pissed me the fuck off, but I had to # deal with it. So, all right, and Selecta Boy, thank you for the 5. What up, RGE? Just got here from watching the Fury versus Wilder fight. Well, hopefully it was good. I was here, so I didn't see it. And Quizder Akeem, thank you for the 2. No one mentions Outlaw Star, good as Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, there is a little bit of a rivalry between those two.
I actually just finished watching Outlaw Star yesterday. I was kind of watching it off and on. It's pretty good. But it's just no Cowboy Bebop. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and I liked Cowboy Bebop, but not nearly as much as everyone in the West seems to. Because funny, see, if you look at Cowboy Bebop, it's really only in America that it's popular. Like pretty much everywhere else in the world, no one gave a fuck.
Yeah, not even in Japan. It's like it's famous for its dub because Stephen Bloom is so good.
Yeah, I know. So if it wasn't, and that's why there's not a second season. Well, plus the first season did have a bit of a final ending, if you catch my drift. But Yeah, I actually like that anime and manga does that, where they see this is the one thing that Western comics do that pisses me off is that they never end. Like we just have to keep recycling the same characters over and over again. Whereas with anime or manga, like say if you're doing SOS, you run through the entire story, you get to the conclusion, then you just say this one's done and you move on to the next story. But no, not here in the West. So we just for 80 years in still making Superman. Like, come on, man.
Someone said Golden Boy.
Oh, that one was fucking hilarious. Yeah. Fucking remember when you can actually have like some hypersexual themes in anime and nobody was reading on Twitter? Those are the days.
The only like funny recent anime is probably The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. And the only thing that pissed me off is that they came out with like a new season on Netflix and they changed the entire dub.
Oh man, at least they didn't do them as bad as with Evangelion, huh?
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, but that's another Evangelion is another one of those where I never really liked it was okay, but I'd never really got why Evangelion was so popular. That was like all right, it's watchable, but it's hardly the best thing ever.
It had to be the mechas and the theme song. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say I loved the Evangelions versus the Angel fights. Those were awesome. But then you got everything else.
Yeah. And even Medicare brought that up. He said that Shinji or whatever his name is a little bitch. I'm like, yeah, he is.
Yeah. No, I was rooting for the Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Damashep, thank you for the 5. The Boruto's first 20 episodes are filler, then 3 from the manga, then another dozen filler. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Naruto in general, just so much fucking filler. But I actually stopped watching once it hit the first filler arc, and by the time that 80 episodes later they were caught up, I just didn't care. Yeah, I just didn't give a shit. So I never resumed watching it. I mean, I read up on where the story is from time to time, but I actually haven't watched it. So.
The only thing that I kind of Dragon Ball Super, I wanted to watch it, but the voice actors ruined it for me.
Did you watch it dubbed?
Yeah, I always watch dubbed. I know I'm awful, but yeah, I'm probably just gonna watch it subbed. I can't listen to these people. They're horrible.
Well, actually, subbed it's even funnier because, I mean, my first exposure to Dragon Ball Z was the French dub, but it was just so hard to get used to grown ass buff Goku sounding like a little girl. I could never get you. And I could, if you watched it subbed from the start, fine, you're used to it. But I got used to Goku sounding like a man. I cannot. I mean, it doesn't sit well with me seeing that big, like fucking like bodybuilder Goku sounding like a little girl. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, and it wasn't until college that I learned, there was a Dragon Ball before Dragon Ball Z. And I watched that in college, and I actually like, yeah, this is great. This is like completely different. And so Dragon Ball Z is like a thing of its decade. It's just mostly fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I don't get most of the hatred for GT, actually. And I know where it comes from, but GT kind of brought it back to what the show was during the original Dragon Ball. So I think after Dragon Ball Z, everyone was expecting, like more of, I mean, GT turned into more of what G was towards the end, or Z was towards the end, because then you got Super Saiyan 4 and you got all the fighting and shit. But it went back to its roots for a long time. And I think that's what threw a lot of people off.
Vampire Hunter D. That is, Bloodlust especially is the best one. Bloodlust, Vampire Hunter D. That is best.
Yeah, there's a lot of old stuff that still could probably stand up pretty well.
Yeah, it was made in 2000 because like the one made in 1985, that one kind of didn't age as well. But the one made in 2000, the animation is so good.
Man,
it holds up today.
Yeah, I mean nowadays I don't. They take too many shortcuts, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it works. I would say Konosuba, I don't know if they did it intentionally, but given that it was a comedy, all the times the characters were off model and the animations were lazy actually kind of worked with the comedy.
Yeah.
But then, so that was, I mean, if you know that's going to happen, do a comedy or goddamn, like my favorite is when you're watching a series, not a movie, a series, and you see like maybe 2 straight episodes of a giant fucking fight scene that's super well animated and choreographed. Every time I see that now, I'm just, I got that sinking feeling in my stomach, like, oh fuck. No, you blew the whole budget on episode 8. So and like Casher and Sins, I really loved that anime, but they ran out of budget, and fuck, Technolize did the same thing, where like there's like 1 or 2 episodes towards the end where they just get super artsy and they show like, you know, actual like live action video through a filter and shit like that for a few scenes, and they ran out of budget and they were trying to kill time.
And then it goes with like Berserk 2016. They had the budget, they just, I don't know what happened.
Well, clearly they didn't spend it on the animation, because Land of the Lustrous comes out shortly after that and shows you that you can make CGI, like 100% CGI anime, look fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but apparently the guy who did Castlevania for Netflix, he's interested in doing Berserk, and so I kind of want to see that. Because Berserk the Black Swordsman arc especially deserves like good adaptation.
I know, man. I know, but I don't think it's going to happen. And this again, this fucking kills me, because as big of a name as Berserk was, they could have, that was their chance. I mean, I don't even hate them for using CG. I just hate them for making it shitty. If Berserk had like Land of the Lustrous level CG in it, that could have been the show that finally makes most of the CGI haters shut the fuck up. But no, you just had to go and just do the lowest tier shit possible.
I watched one anime and subbed. I rarely watch sub, but I forget the name, but it was the one where the old man becomes like a cyborg, and so does this like sociopathic teenager.
Oh yeah, Inuyashiki. Yeah.
Didn't that have CG?
It did, but man, that one, I mean, everything about that anime was fucking awesome. Like the whole concept, the characters, the growth the characters go through. Man.
My favorite part was when he was killing people on 4chan or 2chan. That was awesome.
Yeah, bang. Hunting people down online, talking shit and killing them.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. No. What I liked though is, I mean, that kid, he was an irredeemable piece of shit at first, but then, yeah, it brought up a lot of good moral questions, because what he did was irredeemable and inexcusable, but then he stopped, and he was twice he was gonna stop being an evil piece of shit, and the second time he was actually healing people and helping, but the people he hurt refused to let it go. And they both times he was about ready to stop being a villain, they go and attack him and hurt or kill the people close to him. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this shit. And I'm going to go back to slaughtering you all now. Yeah, he was right about to do a heel face turn, and the quote unquote good guys went and ruined it twice.
Well, they were kind of right. I mean, both sides are kind of right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that brings up the moral questions.
Yeah, I know. And then in the end, I mean, without him, they couldn't have saved the world in the end, but still. Yeah, that was a lot of. Oh, Tara Preston, thank you for the 2. Good question. What manga do you wish was made into an anime? It's the same answer I've had going back like 6 years, Frankenfran. I really want to see a Frankenfran anime. It's still my favorite manga of all time.
I got my wish. It was Vinland Saga.
Oh, nice. Now, you see, actually, when Parasite was announced as an anime, I was ecstatic. I mean, Parasite was cool and all, but I was like, ooh, maybe Frankenfran has a chance now. Nope. I wish they'd finish Capellion as well. That would be my second one. Because, The Capellian anime ended right as the manga was getting like real fucking good. I'm still so fucking triggered over that. Like right before, like you literally end right before it gets to the real good stuff. Fuck you so hard.
And No Guns Life. That's another one I have that finally got made. That was kind of new though. It wasn't as long, but
yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That one was pretty cool. And the way they ended it, I mean, there could easily be more in the future. I hope there is. I would love to see more of that one. That one was real fucking good.
the intro is so good. I just listened to it on repeat. It's so good.
Nerd. Oh, and Genro Genesis, thank you for the 10. It's a shame High School of the Dead will never finish since the manga got canceled because of the tsunami and the creator died. Yeah. Well, and, on a much less tragic note, I'm still fucking triggered that Keijo got canceled because the creator and his editor just could not get along. But so that's a classic in my opinion. Even normies liked it, surprisingly enough. Well, at least they pretend to, but they'd still probably on Twitter virtue signal about how it needed less sexuality.
Yeah. I think it was Giguk. He's a YouTuber I watch. I think he brought up a good point. He said Attack on Titan kind of got everybody, all the normies, to watch anime. I kind of tend to agree.
No, every generation has one. I mean, Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon did it, and then Full Metal Alchemist did it. I think Ghost in the Shell did it, and now it was Attack on Titan. But every time, as soon as that one anime is done, the vast majority of those normies just stop watching. They don't exactly move on to the other stuff. And I'm actually pretty thankful for that because we see what happens when the normies infest something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to end well. Not going to fucking end well. But all right, so I think, oh man, I may have to be calling it here soon. So yeah, we'll just do one more refresh. I mean, hopefully getting a little over $100 was good for you. Yeah,
yeah.
Still 111. And this is closing next month, right?
Yes, March 3rd. I think I'm gonna close for sure.
Yeah, so that would be Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, not next week, the week after, Tuesday.
Yep.
Cool. And the estimated delivery is March, but so it may not make that, but it will be pretty close. So that's good, man.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna really try. I don't want to be late on my first campaign. So
yeah. Well, no, you should have done. Well, what was the joke? Just set the delivery date to like 2025.
yeah, 2099 is what Ethan probably.
Yeah. Hey, go for it. At least then no one's gonna come unless you die. It's gonna happen. So that at least that much is good. Holy shit! But no, this is good. This is fine. If it's only a month or two, especially with all the printing issues, I'm sure no one's gonna complain too much.
My printer is domestic, so that's the good news.
So now that we know that, you can't use coronavirus as an excuse.
Well, you never know. I mean, it is coming here.
Well, oh yeah, you never know. Maybe they get it printed in China. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's one of those things where if I was contracting people out, I don't really care how they get it done, just that it gets done and it's meets my standards. So maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just weird like that. But man, okay. So I think I did promise Fat Man I would play his vid there. So now he got some of the merch from my Teespring store. So let's actually I'm going to stop sharing because I don't know if I still have the volume on. Yeah, StreamYards is special when it comes to sharing volume, but that's fine. I can hashtag deal with it. Let's put it back on. Blot out. Oh shoot. And then I didn't check it again. Wow. Hashtag boomer. There we go. I actually have to click the checkbox to share audio because it's not the default. There. So now let me see. Let's see how he.
Welcome to the Fat Man 56 channel. And today I have a notice for our Raging Golden Eagle. Dear RGE.
Yeah. With the sex
doll. I like it today. How do you think? You think
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be a warm night in the
sack.
Now.
Yeah.
Because,
awesome.
Yay. These blankets are really soft. So Dolly approves.
Yeah.
And of course, she has to be in the picture.
And they are pretty big too. That's right.
So yeah, here's the first one. I got the all white one, which you haven't seen yet. So
Yeah. Blessed night with the
there's
wife.
other
Yeah. Yeah.
with Yuna. Now, is she the bad person? I'm beginning to question. I'm not entirely sure. But either way,
Well-
nice job on that artwork there, big guy.
Well, no, whether she's bad or not, it's all a matter of
So, yeah,
perspective.
that's the thing. Oh, let's didn't much like that. Let's do it again. So, isn't that pretty?
Oh,
I really like the purples and the colors and all that.
yeah. Yeah. That is a pretty blanket, I will
Stacy's
say.
getting tired just sitting there holding that stuff. Yeah, she's looking a little sleepy. See, I told you she was sleepy.
Oh,
So,
man.
yeah.
Fell asleep
I don't
pretty
know if
quick
that's a
there.
bad girl or good girl or whatever, but I really like the colors. And oh, look, the underside of this blanket is white, so definitely safety for the dolly because the dolly costs a lot. So yes, thank you, and don't forget to thank your subs. Remember, your subs coming to my channel was the reason why I got this beyond the artwork.
Hey.
So thanks and thank you. Have a good night, RG. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, man. No, stop. I hate autoplay. I really wish it wasn't on by default. But yeah, that was some good stuff. Yeah, so that is how they are. I actually really appreciate that they're white on the other side too, just because it doesn't stain. Yeah, so that's the thing with the dolls. They could stain, and it'd be a pain in the ass to clean up.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
Well, with silicone, it's not. I've never had too much trouble, but with the even with the resin ball joint dolls, it's pretty easy to clean the stains off of those. Now, the resin is annoying just because it changes color over time. But if you get the vinyl dolls, like with the internal skeletons and all that, man, if the vinyl stains, dude, the only way to get the staining out is to use like acne cream and cook it under a fucking light for like 2 weeks. It's such a pain in the ass. So, having clothing or fabric that's white on the inside, fucking lifesaver right there. So,
I was listening to or rewatching Ricada's stream with Phil from Dollhouse, and it was just very interesting. I'm like, if a few years ago, if you told me dolls would replace people, I would have laughed, but now I can see it. So.
oh, and then when they become robots, it'll be even better.
Well, until they develop like sentience, you got to worry about that.
I don't care. I mean, it's not going to be any more annoying than what we have to deal with now when it comes to our sentient option. So, yeah, at least that's what I say. So yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Normally don't do these streams on Saturdays, but every once in a while it's fine.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, man. See you guys on Monday, and yeah, definitely next Sunday. That's going to be the big one. So see you later.
Later.